made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. bad. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house. You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're...
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series for Rainbow Six Siege here at Frag Nation in partnership with Ubisoft. I'm your host Blackjack, back once again along with my co-host Madness, as we are back for the second semifinal of Qualifier 1. Madness, how are we feeling tonight?
Good about it. We get to see Hasib Warriors in action. That's always a treat to watch because they have been dominating recently in a lot of these tournaments. It was won't stop being in them that were, finalists in the last Community Cup that was held. But moving forward, right, we already see the One Stop Peking have been knocked out of Qualifier 1. At least Blitzkrieg is waiting in the grand finals for whichever of these two teams will actually make it to that point, right? So this is interesting. And another note, guys, every single player or team you'll see has actually qualified for playoffs. So there's just seeding that they're actually fighting for over here.
Well, of course, it's not just the seeding. It is, of course, also for the prize pool that is quite sizable in this Elite Series for Rainbow Six Siege X. We'll get into that in just a second. But like you said, all these teams here in the qualifiers in this top four have already gotten the fact that they are placed into playoffs, and they will be going forward from there for the seeding's sake. Now, of course, this is semifinal 2, as mentioned earlier, which means semifinal 1 happened yesterday. And for a recap, for those who might not have seen it, it was a fantastic triple map affair between Won't Stop Peking and Blitzkrieg. And Blitzkrieg were the ones who ended up taking the win 2-1 after a surprise comeback on map number 2. There was a lot of technical difficulties here and there, but BTZ, they showed us quite the game indeed, and they absolutely deserve to be in that grand final spot. Won't Stop Peking, they have qualified, of course. We will see them back in the playoffs when we get to it in October, but for now, they will have the time to rest, recharge, and practice, and get into the proper groove for that team. Now, coming forward to today, of course, tonight's match is Hasib Warriors taking on Team UwU, two teams that have been here since the very beginning, with names that have been here since, well, even before 2020. Let's have a look at that prize pool in just a second here, folks, and as we transition to it, of course, it is 3 lakhs INR that these teams are fighting for.
It's 3 lakhs INR especially, and that first place taking 1/3 of that entire prize pool, 1 lakh INR for them. Second place gets 60k for themselves. 40 bands for the person coming in third, 30 grand for the person in fourth, and fifth and sixth share that 25 each that they will get in 7th, and similarly with the 10k each. So there's a lot of money still on the line, as we've been talking about. This seeding is there, as well as what you're going to get in from these playoffs later on. It's about how you will end up performing, who ends up picking a majority of this money, and that is a huge prize pool. Like Blackjack did say, that is something that you have to look for. But taking a look at how the tournament format is, we are currently almost at the end, but the penultimate day of Qualifier 1 is 13 September, Semifinal 2. Tomorrow will be the Grand Finals. And then Qualifier 2 will begin on 28 September and then concluded on the 5th. And then when everyone is actually waiting for the playoffs between 6th to 19th October, that's going to be a double elimination, best of 3, and then a best of 5 on the later points. And more importantly, the top 2 teams will qualify for the APAC Cup Asia qualifiers, a route essentially to invitational if everything goes well.
Oh, yes, sir. Those 2 spots in the APAC Cup Asia qualifiers, those are exactly what the teams here are going to be focusing on. That is the long-term end goal between now and September, and of course, the playoffs in October. So the qualifying teams here, they've got their work cut out for them, because of course, when we get to playoffs and these top 8 teams actually get to duke it out in the double elimination brackets, oh boy howdy, it is gonna be a very, very tough time for any team that is caught unawares as to how they should be proceeding and what their overall playstyles should be. They will need to adapt, they will need to change, they will need to be on their toes. And we certainly do hope for the best for these teams, as it always makes for a great for a great tournament when these teams are playing at their absolute best. Speaking of the brackets, let's have a look at the brackets we've had so far for qualifier number 1 here. And of course, we're going to be looking at the match at the center bottom of your screen, September 13th. That is Hasib Warriors versus Team UwU. Once again, similar to yesterday, both of these two teams have had 2-0 wins in their best of 3 quarterfinal matches. So coming into the semifinals, they are both were full of momentum, full of confidence, and definitely, chins high, as they will look to fight to the death here and now tonight.
Absolutely, they're going to be putting on a performance, especially I'm expecting from Hasib Warriors. The boys from Bangladesh are definitely here with the bone to pick. They are the ones looking maybe slight favorites heading in even too further. I would say maybe the top dogs in the competition just about now, but anything can happen in a game like Rainbow Six X. You can never actually anticipate what will happen. Like yesterday's series when Blitzkrieg won a 4 versus 5 in that second map, and they proved why they do belong in that grand finals. And then we did also hear from I Am Noob AF later on in that interview from Won't Stop Peaking. They have some kinks that they have to work out. The columns we're going to as they're talking about, but that was yesterday. Today, what we're going to be focusing on is semi-final 2 here. It's Hasib Warriors versus Team UwU. And look at the smiling faces over here. And Blackjack, you have any predictions maybe of this series that's going to be coming up?
Oh, predictions. Now that, of course, is... Normally I don't like to make predictions, mostly because I'm not exactly very good at it, or at least my success rate is under 50%, which, you know, that's still pretty random. But at the end of the day, I think... I don't know. Given the fact that both Hasib Warriors and Team UwU have had multiple roster changes over the years, but there are some names in there that are pretty familiar. We'll get into that in just a second. I honestly kind of want to say Hasib Warriors might take the win here, but then again, that's just more so a gut feeling than based on anything that is concrete, right? But speaking of the rosters here, which of course might lead into a little bit more reasoning as to why I might think that way. From the side of Team Hasib Warriors, we're going to be seeing Zedux, Taha, Baz, Hasib himself, and Fatar. And from the side of Team UwU, we're going to be seeing Dizzy, Drish, Desi, Dagger, and Beat. If only Beat had a name that starts with D, that would have been a Penta D name team in there. But enough of that, enough of the jokes. Let's have a look at the maps that we'll be seeing today. And it's pretty similar to yesterday madness, as Hasib Warriors have decided to pick Cafe. UwU have brought in Chalet, which is the main difference, map number 2. But the decider remains Clubhouse for map number 3.
And we've seen the Cafe, like yesterday, was quite defender side in terms of its play out. We won't have consolidated, like you're saying. Chalet is the mix-up that's coming in between the 2 days of difference, but it's still going to be Clubhouse as a decider, and that's also very important how you go to takes. We saw some creativity coming yesterday, but for now, Cafe, the main focus map number 1 coming in. Hasib Warriors picked this map maybe for a reason. We got to see that interesting Raura strat yesterday, that the side of wants to being held towards the end part. So maybe some new improvements coming, especially with the newer operators hitting the scenes. You have to always keep on switching up the game like Siege X. You can't keep stale. You have to keep your opponents guessing about what's coming next, and especially maybe that basement side, because like you have 2 ways of entry. You have that freezer, then you have the bakery. It depends on which way you're actually going to go, which way you're going to, as defenders, are you going to have a strong point. And I think this also does decide quite a bit, because always, you know, the offside is going to be a question mark, but you have to, you know, whittle down and, you know, nail down the 3F and the 1F sides.
Absolutely. Third floor and first floor are going to be incredibly important, but mind you, given these 2 teams' history, we might even see second floor come out as the very first site. I would not put it past them. But with that said, speculations are in place. Let's get into the bans for map number 1. The first bans of the night here, and the first bans for map number 1, Cafe Dostoevsky. Hasib Warriors taking on Team UwU, with Hasib Warriors on the attack to start us off, and the first bans of the night are going to be fairly industry standard. Blackbeard and Azami to start us off. I do like the fact that Blackbeard's being taken out of the equation at the very beginning. As we saw yesterday, Blackbeard, Blitz, these shielders are incredibly hard to deal with, as Blitzkrieg definitely had a lot to prove with the Blitz, especially on map 2 Consulate. Second set of bans are coming in here, and of course after this we're going to get right into round number 1. It is Melusi, and ooh, Raora has been banned, and I think for good reason. Blitzkrieg showed us, actually was Won't Stop Peaking, who showed us how incredibly effective Raora can be on Cafe. So the idea to ban her from the very beginning, I like this. Melusi, of course, a little bit more standard, to be expected. But with that said, third floor bar, side of choice, let's get into it.
We are heading to, remember guys, this is semi-final 2. This is map number 1 of qualifier 1 over here. And the Mira actually made it past the banning phase, so that's not going to be the tendency. They said it was the Azami and the Melusi. So now you have the Mira for those long angle holds from the side of Freezer, from the side of even down towards Cocktail as well. So let's see how it comes to effect with these Black Mirror shields. We were seeing a Blitzcrank peak from Taha, but it might be switched over to the Capitao pretty soon. That's when we were talking about the shields coming into effect. And At the same time, Desi's picked up the Legion just in case these kind of plays come out. And you have the Tubaro for the slowdowns as well. Not quite sure how well it's going to operate here in 3F, because there's not going to be that much breaching that's going to be done. Essentially, it's just going to be that wall opening up into piano that you have to be looking out for. Other than that, nothing else. Prep phase has now ended. Operators have been locked in for that. A Ying going to be coming out from Baz. So wait, watch out for those flashbangs later on. Watch out for the Ying devices. And with Taha bring the capital, we might even see a quick fast plant towards maybe the halfway through the round.
Absolutely, a Ying smoke plant rush play, or even later in the round, a surprise entry might be in question, especially given the fact that they also have the Grim, right? Very useful for flushing out defenders from tough corners. Like, for instance, Dagger with the Tubarao sitting here in Cocktail Lounge, right behind the mirror window as well. Mira, an operator who has been allowed in play, at least for these first 3 rounds. And one of these operators who is always so hard to deal with on a map like Cafe Dostoyevsky. Alongside the Mira and the Tubarao, of course, we have your usual suspects, Legion, Aruni, and the Wamai, for utility denial and slowdown wherever necessary. As here we have the first Lion scan coming in from Zdux. The fires are out from the Capitao. Here's the Ying Candelas as well. We might have a fall in, but wait a minute, Hasib's been taken down by Dresh. That's the first kill coming in already. 2 attackers down now. Dizzy fires back with his own shots. And that's going to be 2 bodies taken away. Hasib Warriors definitely tried something there. Tried to be fast and loose, only for it to fall flat on its face. We had another Candela coming in. Baz is in. Wait a minute, he's repelled in right now with 2 of his own. Can he get the player on white corridor? There is one there. But these defenders, they've got positions for themselves. Here comes another set of Candelas. But that's all that Baz has. He's now empty. But there are still 3 defenders remaining. Minute and 12 on the clock. The seconds are ticking by, but time is actually on their side right now. They've got enough of it to get their position set. The Mira's going to be found. Baz with the triple now, but he gets taken down. Beat goes down to Fadar on the other side, and it's all down to Daisy, the last one standing. Sees where both are towards white corridor, so now they know where his position is, and he knows where they are. He's going to handle it, or at least go prone right here. He's been spotted. The Lion's going for the plan. Zdux, as we have the mirror window being taken control of. Beautiful shot from Daisy. It's a 1v1 now, but the health is so low on him. Does the Lion know? No, Zdux doesn't know where Daisy is, and Daisy's got a good position right now. Pings are given, but it's a trade! The 1v2, beautifully done, as the Legion will win it out as the defenders take round 1.
And if you're going for peaks like that, I would have liked to double peak towards the end, but instead he gave 1v1 fights. Legion takes complete advantage of it. It's a trade at the end of the day, but it's defenders who get the round based on the rule set over that point. A lot of mayhem in the earlier steps. We were just seeing maybe a fast play from the Capitao. You saw the flames coming out as well with Sledge. Hasib coming into the picture. Both get knocked away. Then Ying comes in, takes complete control over the cocktail side, gets 2 quick kills in succession, then tries to get another. But he was anticipating the peak, but was not sure. We even saw a couple of, pre-fire wall bangs trying to maybe catch out the Ying. Couldn't do much. But then it's Daisy who comes up huge for his team, gets the guy who's not planting, and Planter was going down on the other side. Planter gets a bit nervous if he's going to get pushed later on, has to get up, goes for the swing past the Mira as well. Unfortunately for him, it's a trade. He ends up going down. That's what they wrote about 3F side, at least for round number 1. UwU gonna be taking that first round advantage against Hasib Warriors. We're heading down to the 1F side, and this is where I expect the blitz of Taha to be coming out.
And I do believe we're going to be seeing that it is locked in. The Blitz, the Ram, the Deimos from Zdux as well. They are in hunt mode because they know that first floor means there's going to be roamers potentially 3rd floor or 2nd floor. Well, definitely 2nd floor for that matter. And they're going to be going all in. But as we saw for just a second on that Deimos' HUD, only beat the Kaid has been red pinged. And the reason that's important is because the more defenders you red ping and actually reveal as attackers, the more defenders that can be actually tracked by the Deimos' death mark. Now Goyo's been marked, so Dizzy's gonna have to be a little bit nervous if they do know that there is a Deimos in play. Maybe not just yet, but once that first death mark goes out, that's when these defenders are gonna start sweating. But the question is, how long is that going to take? Dokubi Call goes out, and that's going to force a little bit of audio cues here. But looks like these defenders, they're just going to sit still. Boogie Drone used for quick entry on Christmas side. or at least second floor, excuse me, pillar side, and that is going to be that the drones, the entry, a little bit of intel gathering as well, but not a whole lot of roam presence actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, I would have liked to see someone roaming. This is where we saw turtling quite a bit in yesterday's map number 1. Didn't work out for the people who actually ended up going for the turtles. And now the Deimos has targeted Goyo as well. So now they definitely know the Deimos on the mark. Goyo has to be careful. There's no mute jammers he can get away from as well. Look on this side, you're using one Goyo, delaying the entry from the white stairs side from themselves. And you have the thermite. So that's going to be that white wall you want to actually open up. Xerax actually ends up picking up the first kills on the target he was hunting, but he'll take it nonetheless to Baro at the end of the day. So the opening frag going the way of Hasib Warriors, the man advantage 5 versus 4 right now, and you can see the blitz. He's actually making his way down from central stairs as well. The blitz will soon be entering the picture. Chaos should be ensuing. A nade thrown out by the Goyo does connect slightly onto the blitz. A bit of HP was chunked away, and Goyo's really wanting to fight this right now. Another target has been acquired. It's going to be the Kaid this time, and no, you're going to step into Legion Mines, and this is exactly why you're going to bring this operator. Daisy picks up Baz on the other hand, while the Legion Mine, Goo Mine was actually being taken away by the blitz. Now Taha is actually going to be running forward close to the courtroom. He's going to flash the Legion, gets the kill at the same time. Hasib gets the kill onto DZZ. It's a 4 versus 2 right now. Hasib Warriors have every single bit of control that they do really require. Really, the fire extinguisher used to create some smoke. Dagger really needs to come up clutch, has to get a pick of himself, try and neutralize some of this man advantage that Hasib Warriors has picked up for themselves. On the other side, Pete actually ends up going down and gets completely finished off. That Xerax going to be claiming up the kill. Dagger in a 1 versus 4. It proves to be too much. Blitz with the long range with the pistol actually claims the kill with the headshot. And this is what was worrying some on that 1F side. This Blitz going huge over here. The Legion Mine's not even going to be able to stop him.
Here we go. That Legion Mines, of course. But the main thing here is that the blitz play from Taha, right? That really shifted the dynamic towards the kind of mid-round when he came down those central stairs or brown stairs, whatever you want to call them. And there was only so much that a lone Legion sitting in reception could do, right? Because once you had that drone kind of give away his position, once you had first floor bar cleared out and the blitz had entry, it was pretty much like set in stone what was going to happen next, right? And after that, the fallen from Hasib Warriors was actually beautiful to see because they coordinated their entry really, really well, all things considered. Zedux on the Deimos getting a double for himself in that moment, in that, final fall in towards site. And after that, it was just all she wrote for Team UwU's defense. So we're going back towards kitchen, actually. Not a change in sight yet. But we do have, once again, the blitz to worry about. Deimos is back. Dokubi is actually going to be switched out for Grim this time around by Baz. Interesting to see. But then again, both of them are intel gathering ops who are really good at their job. So honestly, the trade-off is marginally different. It depends on the playstyle of who's actually bringing those operators. With that said, of course, Warden brought in by Dizzy just to counter maybe some smokes or whatever. He might also be expecting a Ying in play, not exactly sure. But other than that, most of the defense comp remains the same.
And he also can actually fight against the Blitz if he plays it correctly as well at the point. And another important change, Fatar will be switching to the Ace from the Thermite. And there's 2 options for this Deimos currently. It's only the Ella and the Rumi that he can actually look to target for himself. Doors being opened up on that 2F side. Dagger gets a very open effect onto Zedux. Zedux completely obliterated where he was standing. DZZ also gets the kill onto Baz. So the Warden coming out pretty huge. You still have the Blitz to deal with. There's less people at that point. And the Goo Mines in his feet. So you wouldn't have even got the sound key about where this Blitz could possibly be. The shield will anyway give it away with him just, being that chunky boy trying to run down the metal sound should be that point for him. But look at Warden. He's walking up red stairs, anticipating the Blitz coming down this angle. So he even used his gadget earlier on in case of flashback. The Blitz was close by. Daisy's looking to come forward as well. You're opening up a bit more rotations from the side of Justin side if you want to hit into side later if entry by mistake actually does happen for Hasib Warriors, because it is a 5 versus 3. This is a very big uphill battle for them right now.
Massively uphill battle. I do actually really agree on that front because, again, those 2 bodies you lose early. It's never fun to lose bodies early in a competitive round, of course, but most importantly, you've lost your Grim and you've lost your Deimos. Fatar fires back, finally finding Dagger. That's 1 down, and with the Ram going ham on the second floor, well, that's going to be verticality set up. Little bit on the later side maybe than Hasib Warriors would have liked, but then again, there's only so much you can do when you've lost 2 bodies so very quickly. Blitz has been spotted out, and that means Daisy has to play a forward position. He's got to get more goo mines in his pocket quickly. He should get one in just a second here, as the gas pipe has been ruptured, making sure that pantry entry is denied for at least the time being. Dizzy's taking damage. He's going to be down on red stairs. That is huge, as that equalizes the body count going into the 30-second mark. This could potentially be the play that decides the round. No, Taha goes down. Desi, the Legion in the forward position, as mentioned before. He gets one, but he's got to deal with Fathar with one of the best guns in the game. There we go. He gets the kill. He equalizes, but the diffuser is not in their pockets. Beat comes around, finding that kill. 1v2 now to Hasib, the last one standing. He's got 10 seconds in his hands. He knows where one of them is, but he's going to get shot up with the flashbang thrown, and with the marks coming in, he should be found. Yes, he is, and Team UwU, a little bit more comfortably than before, will take round number 3.
I think those first 2 opening frags are going to be very crucial for the side of UwU over here. That just set the pace of kind of how this game was going to go down. DZZ, like you're saying, you take so many numbers away, it's harder for Hasib Warriors to open up verticality earlier on, and it takes time to walk in. And later on, Fathar is trying to do the best he can, especially with such an OP gun like the AK-12 in his hand, but still just could not actually close out. You get the kill onto the Legion, but Hasib Warrior is left alone with very little HP marks in an open position, and more importantly, the diffuser is not in his hands, so he can't even go for the rush point. He has to actually end up going for the pickup instead. So now they're going to go back to the 3F side. I would have liked to maybe even see the Warden come in to maybe deal with that Ying that might probably come out, but I think that's a one and done strategy coming from Hasib Warriors, and Team who does recognize this, so they're not going to be paying too much attention to it. Dagger's going to be bringing out the dog, mind you, doesn't have the ACOG anymore, as well as DZZ has the Black Mirror wall, so these are going to be long angles that UwU is going to be fighting for, and hopefully this time they can come out on top.
I am interested in the dock being brought out, right? Because now that Aruni has been banned, of course, it means that Daggers kind of have to play a little bit more on the back foot, potentially, with that 3 armor operator right there. Aruni, of course, a pretty good ban, all things considered, as she was there for 2 of the first 3 rounds, and especially that DMR was very tricky for Hasib Warriors to deal with, right? It's such a powerful weapon in the right hands, and, well, Team UwU's hands have certainly shown that Aruni is a menace. Well, not to society, but to them in this regard. But with all that said, the attacker ban that we did see was Blitz, and yeah, I mean, that's to be expected, right? 3 rounds, 2 of them had Blitz. Once again, Blitz taken off the board, and Taha has just opted to go for the buck instead. Might actually be a little bit playing vertical from down below in second floor. That is something that tends to happen on Cafe, right? Where there's so much of that third floor, that soft floors, right? Wooden floors that you can just break. But wait a minute, no! Taha's been down because someone's playing red stairs, and he might actually get taken out. Yes, he is, cleaned up. And Drish, once again, gets this entry kill here, and a big one at that, as Taha off the board.
Yeah, like you're talking about the verticality, apparently that's no longer available. He was maybe trying to go to reading room, but unfortunately could not make his way over there. There she's now switched over to the Jaeger, but on the other side, Hasib Warriors, Hasib wants peace. The namesake man himself will be taking the kill onto Drish instead. So the trade comes in, albeit at a later pace, but it's still now making equal numbers in a 4 versus 4. But this will always, I think, favor the defender side because you have more room to clear out, less util to actually go around with. You don't have the verticality open up. Now you have less goo mines to actually throw away because it refreshes over time, but you're still in a very safe spot, and you already still have that roamer on that 2F side if he wants to cause any kind of chaos. The Wamai is going to be looking to protect this Black Mirror as long as possible. Oh my god, look at this. If he actually goes for the run out, he can catch somebody over there, but no, instead it's going to be Xerax dropping down, masking his fall with the bullets, but then he gets spotted out by the alarm sensor. Nice upside down repel, gets the Black Mirror over there. Dagger gets the kill onto Xenox, who had actually entered the building. So he was detected by alarm sensor, was put down by the dock that's come into play. So now 4 versus 3 for in favor of Team UwU, as the clock is ticking down. Only 1 minute left on the clock. Baz is now just making his way up from the bottom of white stairs, taking his time, doing at a patient crawl basically at this point. He's just holding in case anybody just goes for it, because they're expecting maybe a run out later from the bottom side of garage, and that's what he's anticipating. Flash is going to come in from piano. They're trying to cause sound to maybe bait out that run out instead, but no, nobody's falling for it. Fathar is actually the one carrying the bomb 30 seconds about to be just left on the clock. You have to make your move if you're Hasib Warriors right now. Another Black Mirror gets opened up. Long angles are there. A bit of panic fire coming from Hasib Warriors. He's trying to fight where the bullet spray, bullet patterns are coming from, but couldn't find his target. They say actually it's going to get detected, but I don't know how much you can actually do with that point. And Freezer's locked up. You have good control of it. The Wamai is now coming into fashion, and Nomad put into Freezer. Two people at the same angle, but Fatar, yet again, coming out on top, getting the better of Dagger, but eats a lot of the HP from below. The C4 comes in from DZZ, ends up taking passes like, but the plant's going down by the Ace. It should actually materialize, and it will. Nobody actually ends up stopping, but Desi finally gets the kill onto a C. But Fatar is still alive. If this man is alive and kicking, it's still a worrisome side for the side of Team UwU. But the only bonus point, Fatar's HP is low, and that's going to be the end of him. They finish him off with a headshot, and Team UwU will be taking their third round in the defensa.
That got a lot closer than I think Team UwU would like to admit, especially with the plant at the end from Fatar, as in those final 15 seconds, Hasib Warriors managed to gain a little bit of ground, but not enough, unfortunately for them. Team UwU taking their third round now. 3-1 is the scoreline in their favor. Definitely made it at the very least equal, even in an ideal situation for Hasib Warriors here, where they can make it 3-3 going into the second half. But will that be possible? Yesterday's match, that we of course can call back to every now and again, was quite the interesting affair in that regard, right? Because none of the excuse me right there. None of the maps in that 2-1 final scoreline had an equal half, right? It was always a 4-2 for either side.
Yep.
Now tonight, of course, that could be different, and some would even say that Team UwU and Hasib Warriors might even be pretty evenly matched in terms of their strength and playstyles, and I certainly would be inclined to agree given some of these names that are in play here tonight. But whether or not that remains the case, whether or not one of these teams ends up losing steam like Won't Stop Peaking did yesterday, that is going to be a deciding factor as we go further and further deeper into this matchup. Round number 5 is now in play, and we finally have the second floor site being brought out, of course, reading room and fireplace hallway to be expected. And another thing that I was actually expecting but is now happening for the first time in this map, the Fenrir has been brought out to play Dizzy with those FNATs.
Yes, I think that is something that they have to look forward to. They're sacrificing the Legion for it essentially over here, but you have more traps as well. You have the Ella mines, you have the Kapkan traps as well, so you can actually navigate these doorways, get some more info, maybe get some sound cues depending on how you want to work for it. But it's the 2F side. You want to keep that 3F control if you're Team UwU, and that's where you see Dagger making his way over. He's going to be going, has to be careful of that white stair window essentially for himself. He's already got it on lockdown in the hallway, and it looks like a call will be coming in, or no, you're just checking the camera from the side of ZDX. No fast calls as of yet. You have brought Fatar back in with the Grim. Good denial of that, spacing, depending on if you actually locate anyone. Has brought in the sledge, so verticality, yet again, should be coming to this. And finally now, we think it's safe to enter Piano. It seems to be completely safe. You even spot out a Black Eye, so that's one less Black Eye for Drish to be looking on as you've made your entry into the building finally, and now looking to make your way downtown.
Here we go. Calls coming out from ZDux, and that's going to give away the sound cues and force these defenders into a delay, but never mind. Drish with the C4, he's going to find a big one. That's Hasib off the board. That's Diffuser on the floor as well. Taha falls, trying to get a recovery going, and Beat will get the second kill of the round. The Dokkaebi comes in, taking utilities out. Fatar finds Dizzy on the other side. Shots fired on white stairs. They know where the Ella is, but it doesn't really matter if that kill is not emphasized upon. Baz is taking a little bit of damage on the other side. Has to be careful of his positioning. Daisy does not care about the fact that, the Grim knows where this Ella is. On the other side, wait a minute, Dagger falls as ZDux takes a second kill for these attackers, equalizing the body count. Second call came out from the Dokkaebi, so no more logic bombs remain. And the Dokkaebi is actually pretty close to site, all things considered. ZDux has to go and find, or actually, not ZDux, Baz goes and gets the diffuser, but they're still Beat on this third floor, who could potentially get the diffuser dropped once again. ZDux falls on the other side. The Gridlock doesn't know, now knows, finds Beat. Once again, body count is equalized, but they can't keep the diffuser in their pockets or close to the site because they keep finding players on top floor who should not be there. now that they've flushed out those defenders, now that they have a fairly close round going, 20 seconds remain, they've dropped into laundry. Beautiful shot on the Desi, and that is going to make it a 1v2 that Drish has to find himself in. He's right outside of reading room, shooting through that closet, but can't quite get the kill, which means the plant has happened. They know where the Valkyrie is, and Fatar is going to come around, find that headshot. Getting the kill and getting the round for Hasib Warriors here.
Yeah, and just unfortunately gets that. The Valkyrie comes in, second he flicks away from the other opponent over there to the guy who actually planted, got the diffuser down. That's where the peak comes in, that's when he ends up going, no, but it shouldn't have actually ended up being that close. That verticality, you bought so much time for your team. It's a 2 versus 2. I think that peak at Vice, holding the tight angle, I think you have to keep on jiggle peeking. You can't just hold it directly over there because it's an easy pre-fire. Just basically, if you see the head, it's Peaker's advantage, I would say, honestly, at that point. The way that kill was going in the pocket. But we're going back to the 1F side. And like you said, like yesterday, we did not have any halves that ended on equal numbers. This might be the first one throughout Qualifier 1 from semifinals continuation onwards over here. This is looking lighting because we're going back to the basement, and this time there is no blitz in the picture, so you're gonna have to be running something else if you want to get those early entries. You're gonna bring the Ying back in for Baz, and I think because they don't anticipate a blitz being that, the Warden won't be bringing out that proved huge kind of in terms of, you know, it denies a lot of flash, it prevents you from going in head on those fights. And that Warden later on got a lot of good roams coming in, got caught out by Hasib, but that was fairly later on into the round. But prep phase is over, still Goyo's being placed down right now. We're looking for cheeky spawn angles if we're right now in the minds of Fatar, but none so ever opportunities presented to him by Team UwU. But it's Drish who actually ends up getting the first pick out of the, and that's your soft pick, that's your ram that's gone down so early on into the round. That's so crucial for getting those vertical holes opened up.
Yeah, the verticality has pretty much entirely been denied here for Hasib Warriors because they only had... Okay.
Oh my
All
God.
right, Drish. Okay,
Oh
you can't just go around one-tapping people like that. All right. Zedux does actually find one in return. Dagger to fall. The dock has been taken care of, but realistically, the dagger hasn't really been the big problem. It's mostly been this Tubarao and this DMR here, as Drish has so, generously shown how dangerous he can be in the right moments here, getting Taha, getting Fatar, and looking for one more. He's going to go and pre-fire a little bit on that window because there were shots fired. That was Baz outside in just a second, but that is the upside down rappel. He has to be careful about this because, of course, upside down rappels are notoriously hard to counter. He's going to throw one more Zoto canister right there to freeze anybody on the entry. Daisy finds Zedux on the other side, and really, there's only so much you can do from here on out if you are in that Hasib Warriors camp. Smoke's going to smoke himself just to make sure that nobody can push him and force him out of this pantry corner. A very powerful position indeed, something that the Ace would have liked to potentially take advantage of with the Selma. And that's exactly where I think Fatal went down. Second floor red stairs is exactly where this fight's going to happen. That's going to be Hasib to take one more, Drish to fall. Finally, this Tubarao has been put down, but still the body count remains in UwU's advantage.
It's just not the body count. They bought so much time, honestly, at this point. And it's Baz and Hasib Warrior at least have the capital utility to actually maybe get the plant on side. But Smoke still has used actually all the rest of his canisters right now, trying to keep this pantry in whole. And let's see how long. But here comes the backup. Here comes DZZ. The last smoke getting used right about now. Baz still has to contemplate if he wants to enter from this side or maybe make the long rotation. He's going to throw a flame from here. Maybe get somebody who's sitting close by, or maybe make it look like he's trying to enter from there, but instead is going to make the rotation over to this wall. Enters into small breaking, instantly gets put down by DZZ, and then Beat is there to get the final frag of the game with the LR gun. The guy coming in from courtroom couldn't do much, taken completely off his head, and unfortunately we're not going to get an equal half, but I think UwU's going to be more than happy with how that defensive half went for. Maybe it's not that 5-1 score or 6-1 score or 6-0 scoreline you're hoping for, but a 4-2 scoreline on defense in Cafe is something you're going to take any day of the week, especially against a team like a Hasib Warriors, against a team here on equal footing on. Now, Hasib Warriors have to show their mettle on their defense side. What kind of bans are they looking for? The Grim actually getting banned out from that. An operator we get to see banned that much, Blackjack.
Grim getting banned right out of the gate. I actually do understand it from the side of Hasib Warriors because they played a lot of Grim, and Grim definitely gave them a lot of utility out of those B canisters, right? I mean, all things considered, Grim was doing his job, you know, denying area, creating space, and getting as much intel as possible. It was just the case of Hasib Warriors getting outplayed from other operators that Grim wasn't pressuring out of those corners, who were actually the ones to find those kills, find the space, and of course get that round advantage that we now see on top of your screens here. So I understand the ban here from Hasib Warriors. They don't want to have to deal with that because they played the Grim pretty much non-stop in their first half. On the other side, of course, industry standard bans. Once again, you have your Blackbeard, Valkyrie, and Mira, who will be joining Grim on the bench this round. Valkyrie, a very good ban. Honestly, not banned enough, if you ask me sometimes, because again, in the first half, we saw just how useful she can be, right? Drish with the C4 denying plants or getting very good off kills every now and again. Those black eye cameras giving away so much intel that the side of Team UwU were using to, well, pretty much all the advantage in the world. And that's exactly why Valkyrie sometimes should be banned. You just don't want to have to deal with it. You don't want to have to play the IQ round after round, especially given that with the Valkyrie in play, someone like IQ, someone like Dokkaebi becomes almost mandatory to play. And even with Dokkaebi, you have to have a little bit of setup, right? You have to get a kill, make sure it's like a defender who's at an off angle, off site, somewhere safe for Dokkaebi to go and hack the cams, and then you can use those black eye cameras to your advantage. Or you play Brava like Beat is doing here.
Yeah, and you can hack those cams, get more advantages. There's not much actually for a hack. Maybe a Rumi Walls as well as the Mute Jammer. That's about all that he can actually end up hacking at this point. Because if the operators won't actually have any electronic gadgets that you can go for your hacking. But right now, Aurora has come in for UwU. Remember, it was banned technically in the first half by the side of UwU themselves. So they have some game strategies coming in right now that they want to actually materialize. But Taha actually will be ending up getting the first frag onto Daggers, the Ash, who's slowly walking his way into the building. Unfortunately, gets completely put out of his misery over there. We have someone on the skylight, but the peak's not coming in here, playing the angles perfectly from their side. And the skylight angle man has to also be wary of what the angles he can be peaked from. You can hear an EMP charge going down, but the line charge comes in as well. There are repels on windows multiple sides, but no one has made an entry into the building as of yet. Frathar's just waiting with his double barrel shotgun just around the corner. So is Baz at this window cocktail balcony. For now, there should be no pressure towards his side. Actually, there is one guy repelled upside down, maybe looking for a peek, but I don't think this man is going to be given that kind of peek. He's just going to be sitting very nicely tucked away out of any harm, and he's been spotted, I think so. So they know exactly where he is. They're trying to get him out of it, but Baz actually ends up getting the pick onto Driz instead. The fights come in. Baz is going to be taking the fight towards Beat, and it looks like Baz came out very good on top because Beat took quite a beating, mind the pun, over there. Taha actually gets the kill onto DZZ. Only 2 members remaining for the attackers for the team UwU. It's going to be Beat, who's very low on HP. It's going to be Desi, but Desi himself picks up the kill onto Zedux, who was maybe towards the top side of Visors. There was a run out from Baz. Maybe low HP thought this is maybe the best kind of play. You make higher reward at that point, but Azami's just going to walk up to the center. Hasib deletes Desi as well. Beat is all that is left for Team UwU. Low on HP, not much he can do. Taha will flicker around, essentially. He was getting kind of hunted down, turns around at the last second, and look at the shot that he hits over the quick reactions coming in from this man.
Quick reactions, quick reflexes, but most importantly, a third round for Hasib Warriors. They've taken themselves up by one more, excuse me right there, one more round and closer to equalizing 4-4 going into round number 8, potentially speaking, of course. First floor kitchen, the side of choice as is to be expected by, right about now. And here's an interesting pick here from Taha. bringing in this Solus, an operator that we don't see a whole lot of after her nerf a few seasons ago. Solus, of course, wonderful for finding attacker intel, attacker gadgets more specifically, pretty much serving as the IQ on defense. Now, what nerf am I talking about when it comes to Solus? Well, she can no longer use her gadget in the prep phase, and while that might not sound like a whole lot, when you imagine that prep phase is the time where these attacker drones are roaming the map, getting themselves into key positions and finding defender intel, and you realize that she can see drones for a fairly large radius around her, right, in her like special glasses mode, pretty much similar to Warden right there. Well, you can see where I'm going with this. If you can deny drones that efficiently, that makes you nearly overpowered. Some might even say completely overpowered in that regard.
Exactly.
So that nerf alone, made Solus quite less picked than before. But it's not to say that she's not powerful. She still is, because she's got a P90, she's got the secondary beepers, right? The proximity alarm. So again, plenty of intel can be found by this operator, just not as strong as she used to be.
I, for one, am happy about that, because she was the monster who was just hunting drones every single prep phase. At least right now, your drones are safe over there. You have to deal with just the normal defenders going targeting. But after prep phase, that's when the Solus will come into it. You see already the guys being used to see if any drone is close by, in case you can see any gadget of any kind. They're taking it on the slower side from the side of Team UwU. They're droning everything very carefully. The Ram finally going to get chucked down into the balcony. There might be a defender looking for a peek, and very aware as DZ said that this peek might come in. Instead, the defender backs down, heads down onto red stairs. No confrontation whatsoever right now. There's even a red pick on the side. The flashbang, unfortunately, bounces from the windowsill to the outside. But in the meantime, Dagger gets the kill onto Taha. So that's the Solus out. The Solus that was roaming. So that's one less roamer that you have to deal with. The more confidence going to be in the camp of Team UwU right now. And you can see even Ash is making herself down red stairs or brown stairs at that point. It's more of a turtle setup right now without the Solus in picture. And now Team Hasib Warriors have to be careful about what can actually be going down in front of them. 1 minute, 18 seconds left on the clock. The Rams are coming in even more. More verticality opened up. The ping will be coming out. A yellow ping, albeit at that. So the defender won't know that they have been spotted. And this bar is very a crucial place where you want to play around, especially with Zidux with that high velocity, vector in his hand, the high fire rate that he's available. Baz also playing a very nice defense towards Small Bakery, just watching that window. Only 50 seconds left on the clock with UwU to deal with the defenses of Hasib Warriors. And oh, this might be a catch-up from Zidux if he is careful. They spotted out from the Christmas tree. Zidux will be the one who getting the kill onto this, equalizing the numbers. Now it's a 4 versus 4. You've opened a verticality, but you have to actually end up going to the side if you want to cause mayhem. And now you can see more exposure happen. I think the hatch has also opened up. Hasib Warrior will actually get a pick through it. It's going to be Hasib himself getting the pick onto DZ. Then Fatar gets the other strangler who had jumped down. That's going to be Dagger. Quickly, in a blink of an eye, we come from a 4 versus 4 to 4v2 into a 3 versus 2 in favor of Hasib Warriors. Make that a 3 versus 1. Only Drish is left alive. The SMG of the Ivana this time comes into effect, gets down the Melusi, but time is not on his side. He has to rush in, and unfortunately, Zidux will be claiming the kill on the Hibana, not aware that someone is just lurking around the corner.
It is what it is in that regard. Team UwU taking entirely too long on that top floor. Especially on that second floor verticality and their final push into sight. There was just too much delay happening. They didn't have either the intel or the room to work with, especially when it comes to Christmas and first floor bar side, right? You want that area cleared out before you start dropping hatch and getting through on the white stairs side of the map. Unfortunately, they could not get that clearance, especially with the Ash getting taken down on brown stairs because of the double peak that we saw between the Goyo and I believe it was the Melusi. Regardless of that, it was just, again, a case of I think if they hadn't lost their Ash on Brown Stairs, it might have been a completely different round. I think that one kill probably changed the entire course of those last 30 seconds. And, you know, some might say I'm overestimating that one interaction, but you have to realize, we've said this before yesterday, that Brown Stairs first floor bar Christmas area, when you're playing to enter on White Stairs and Freezer Hatch, that part of the map is incredibly important. And that you need to take control of that as an attacker. If that area has defenders lurking in it, well, you're going to get pinched from inside and just the lurkers outside of the site as well. Oh dear me, Drish is going to take a ton of damage because Fatar decided to go for a peek with that secondary shotgun in hand. Oh dear me, the ITA-12S does pack a punch, but Baz is also taking a bit of damage right now on that Pillars hallway door. So he's got to fall back. Legion needs to stay alive. Those goo mines over the course of the round, they get more and more dangerous. And this is where I like this pick, the Thunderbird coming in. And wait a minute, oh my goodness, how much trouble is Fatar giving them on White Stairs here?
Yeah, they're trying to neutralize him out. The grenade doesn't actually lock onto him. He even has the Umai to play with if he needs to. He bursts open things at that point. But Fatar has drawn so much attention to himself, even as the Thunderbird, while his gadget is still doing the work from the other side. And right now, 3M, a fight is going down. Taha trying to get the pick, doesn't actually end up going down. He gets spotted by the drone as well. They know exactly where he's in. Cocktail Baz gets the kill onto Desi, who was looking to maybe get the upper hand, but unfortunately, he gives over the first pick to the side of Hasib Warriors. Right now, score is equalized at 4-4. Drish is low on HP. DZZ's close to the 50 HP mark as well. And you're still taking your time to clear out 3F. This is what you need to do. I think they even spotted out the Capcan traps on that bathroom door at that point. Unless, by faulty mistake, they walk into it, that could be just their death at that point. But you've bought so much time as the side of Hasib Warriors. You even get the drone. Look at this man. He's trying to prone and actually get another kill through the drone hole. Just gets the drone for his troubles. 1 minute left on the clock, but a quick trades actually coming in. Drish gets the kill onto Taha. Zirax gets the kill onto DZZ. So no more Dokubi calls coming in at the later time. I think she hadn't even used her last charge. 50 seconds left, and this Thunderbird is doing wonders for the side of Hasib Warriors. Anytime anyone gets slowed, just walk by a Thunderbird gadget, get the heal back up for yourself. That's exactly what they're doing. Unfortunately for Drish, there is no healing factor for him. So he's going to still be at that low HP mark. 40 seconds left. Hasib, one piece gets got by Beat, actually neutralizing numbers. It's a 3 versus 3 at the end of the day. 30 seconds to work with. Maybe a run-out also in the pictures for Hasib Warriors on that 1F side. As of yet, nothing happened on the 2F actually at this point near the door. It's Fatar actually looking for it, but there's a crisscross of claymores, and the peak was anticipated. The distraction's enough for Drish to from above to get the kill onto Fatar, but they have to work forward. It's 10 seconds left. Peak gets another kill onto Zirax. If Baz plays this right, he can stay alive. He gets one kill, so they should know exactly where he is. He's gonna just hide behind this fallen bookcase if they can't get the kill, and they won't get the kill. Baz coming in clutch in technically a 1 versus 3, but with the clock on his side, he's equalized the numbers, got the round for himself, and putting Hasib Warriors just 1 point away from match point.
Baz with the 1v3 right there, and beautifully played as well when you really look at it, because all he had to do was sit there in a corner and make sure he stayed alive, and that's exactly what he did. And well, the timer did the rest. Once again, Team UwU losing bodies early and not having the space to make their play, especially in those last 30 seconds, despite the fact that the other defenders were taken care of. Despite the fact that they were in a 3v1 advantage, they just did not have the intel on where Baz was, on where they could push in, what was safe, what wasn't. There were goo mines all over the place, and there just wasn't enough space to go for the plant at the end of the day. Now, Hasib Warriors, they've taken themselves into the lead. They are 5-4 up, and they are 1 round away from map point to start us off here. And for those who, need this refresher or might not have been here at the beginning of the stream, Hasib Warriors were the ones who picked Cafe. and Team UwU were the ones who decided to go defense first on this map. Seems like tonight, once again, Cafe is being a little bit on the defender side of things, and well, the way these teams have played, I do totally see why that is the case. Defenders have had quite the ball when it comes to this map. Now, we're moving on to third floor once again with Hasib Warriors bringing back the castle, bringing back the Aruni. Taha on the Warden once again, and the Azami. Actually, I just realized Azami is in play because those final bans were Dokubi, understandably so, and Melusi.
Yeah, that's a good point to put in. We didn't get to see much Azami in Cafe. Yesterday was banned out quite a bit, but for the change of pace, it's going to be coming in over here. And this is where Hasib Warriors having their Mira banned out against them. Just still doing pretty good work. I don't see any hard breach coming in for the side. It was going to be hard to open up the piano war unless Hammer has brought it as a secondary gadget. You brought in a sledge. It's just going to be used to open up these holes and used to open up those castle, shattered windows and holding up. There comes a nade from above. Baz chunked very, very low. Barely, you can barely see his HP. One shot, even at his foot, will bring about his death in the round. And you have all thanks to the attacker on the window. Here comes the Lion charge. Not going to be spotting out everyone. Everyone stands still for a time being, and there's a mute jammer as well near Fatar, so he was safe no matter what the scenario. But these are the angles that can be carried because of Azami walls. You can prevent any sort of angle, deployment into piano. You can cover all your angles, get good safety net for yourself of how you want to play, a good wiggle room essentially. So you break one, she's just going to put up another. You actually end up breaking two, and now the fights can be down before she gets the other one up. She's maybe even looking for, she's just buying time for her team essentially over Blackjack.
And that's the big thing about Azami, right? She can stall for so long. As Fatar gets one, Taha falls on the other side to beat. Looks like tried to go for a White Stairs peek right there, Taha. And, I mean, that is a fairly common outdoor peak, right? So it will be watched. There's probably a drone in there somewhere. But Daisy falling on the other side is not something that Team UwU would want here. Because much like Thunderbird in the previous round, the Finka was supposed to serve as their heal, their constant source of HP. And that has just been taken away. Zedux, I do believe, went and got the Claymore on that pillar's door, or might have just been, might have fallen back because of it. Regardless, Hasib will finally fall, and that is the Azami taken care of. That's huge right there, because for these last 40-ish seconds, they will no longer have to deal with those Kiba barriers, and they can get an entry into piano. But 30 and less remain, and they still haven't made the space to get the plant going. Maybe even on default. Zedux gets one on the other side, dizzy to fall. Can he get one more? He does. Coming around on this balcony just below the hatch, but no one's on top of it. Drish will be down on the other side, and it's all up to Dagger now, the last one standing. But where is Dagger? Where is the Lion? Rappelling here just outside of Cocktail Window. No room to work with, and no life either. Fatar takes his head clean off, and that is going to be Hasib Warriors with, doing a quick count here, their 4th round in a row, Madness, as they've gone from 2-4 down to 6-4 map point.
So far, a flawless defensive half coming in for them. This is maybe a reason why they picked this map. Their defense looks so strong right now. Maybe except for that one where Baz had to clutch up. Everything else seems to be going according to their plan. A bit of a late entry from UwU, and that Azami bought, honestly, so much time in piano. You can't do much later on. You're still repelled outside. You can't even enter the building, essentially. A Scopa is going to be brought in from Ta to help in aiding of these kind of roams. The smoke's still going to be coming out. A Fendril will be deployed as well. And more importantly, all 3 bans of both teams have been used up. So Blitz hasn't been banned out, can be used, and DZZ wants to make Taha take some of his own medicine from the likes of what it's looking like. And now we have to see if Hasib Warriors will be going for those zones, how much of control they can keep above before it breaks down into all chaos, because that's exactly what's happening every single round in the last 30 seconds.
It really just has been that situation for Team UwU, right? They get the bodies, they get, even in a lot of the rounds, they've equalized or even had like a 4v3 or 3v2 advantage, and it just doesn't work out for them. Whether it's the lack of space creation, whether it is the lack of intel, their drones being caught and, denied, or whatever else has been happening, whether they get just outgunned, outplayed, outmaneuvered, a bunch of outs happening in these interactions. And that just hasn't really been good for them. Taha We did see the eye icon, meaning that that defender went for the jump out. Scopos, actually a run out, I think, out of pillars or jumping out of cocktail balcony there. Regardless of what it was, has been taken care of. That's going to be once again the first body to fall. Taha has been falling pretty quickly for these defenders in this matchup. But wait a minute, the Blitz has been taken care of. That's huge right there. Zedux coming in from White Stairs, finding the Blitz. Dizzy, oh dear me. UwU brought out that Blitz thinking they were going to get something out of it. But Daisy finds Hasib on the other side. There's still fight left in Team UwU.
Yeah, they're trying to make the best of their scenario right now. It's still number disadvantage for the side of Hasib Warriors. Upside down repel takes a lot of Fatah's HP. He's trying to pre-fire on the angle, but look who's coming in from near court, near reception. He's trying to walk in as much as possible, and that's going to be the Ash. But on the other side, Xerox gets the kill onto beat. Now numbers have equalized. Fatah's low on HP, has to get a cheeky angle for himself. Could not get the kill. Drish deals with him, but gets knocked down in return. So you have to end up wasting time to pick him up. But Drish is in an open kind of spot, and Desi is trying to find out where Zedux is, because Zedux is the last man standing for Hasib Warriors, and Desi will end up predicting or actually hearing Zedux coming down from main stairs. It might have even been a drone as well, but good game sense to know where to look, gets the pickup, and 1 point away from maybe taking us to an overtime already in map number 4, because even yesterday semifinal 1 Cafe went into the overtime, even with that command leave of 5-1 in one something. So it's only till that overtime they start winning better rounds in the attack half. And like we said time and time again, it's a defense sided half map, and now finally we get to see maybe chunks or chinks in the armor of Hasib Warriors' defense.
Cracks in that defensive armor coming in from UwU's attack in that last round. I would like to point out though that pretty much all of the action towards the end of the round still happened on that Bar Christmas part of first floor, right? Which just kind of highlights how important that part of the map is when you're defending first floor. It's almost always going to be the site of chaos, the site of a lot of action, whether in the mid round or the end of the round. And yet again, the space, I keep making this I keep making this assertion that creating space is important. Now, some viewers might think, okay, but what does that really mean? Well, creating space can work in many different ways when it comes to how a round of Rainbow Six Siege goes. Say, for instance, you're playing someone like Grim or Dokkaebi, creating space with those operators means that by, getting the call or getting Grim's Bees in, you force a defender out of a powerful position, and that creates space for you to find that defender and maybe even aggress a kill onto them. On the other side, if you're playing a shieldler like Dizzy is playing the Blitz once again, well, creating space is simple. You be a giant distraction. Well, that's more a Monty thing. And in Blitz's case, you be an aggressive distraction. But Beat's going to fall on the other side. Hasib with the first kill, and that's a huge one as well. Once again, verticality is going to be denied to a certain extent here. Of course, Desi and Drish with the Ash and Flores can still do quite a bit of work in that regard, but Flores is going to be spending RCE Reteros to take care of Goyos, to take care of, well, okay, Goyo himself is going to be taken care of by that exact combination of operators I just mentioned. It's going to equalize the body count as well, 4v4.
Yeah, he was trying to go for 5. Probably shouldn't have been taking with the man number advantage, and ends up paying it with his life. And this is a 2F side. You can hit it from below, you can hit it from above. Vertically has been neutralized, but Dagger takes the kill onto Fatah. Now you're seeing the opening up below from Taha, maybe for a run later or get the attacker's attention towards that garage door essentially. But without Fatah in the picture, it could be problematic because he was a very big factor, especially on the Thunderbird, creating a lot of pressure at the White Stairs earlier on. But this time he won't be available. He's trying to be looking for those kind of picks again. Now with the Blitz, you spot someone on the top of White Stairs. Baz is still turtled up into sight. You're finally going to have people coming in from the window from Cocktail as well. And look at where Baz is waiting for the beat. But in the meantime, Hasib one piece gets the kill on to Daisy. Numbers have finally been equalized. It's 3 versus 3. 1 minute left on the clock. The Blitz is thinking of jumping down. Baz already got the kill onto Drish. So with that distracted, now the Blitz can actually make the approach into sight. And the person on side has to be careful. Dagger almost got the kill on to Hasib Warrior, but Hasib one piece, but it's not enough. In the meantime, the Blitz actually ends up going down to Baz. So Baz coming out better in the fight versus basically not favorable because he didn't even use the shotgun, he used the SMG. And look at where Baz is lying. Look at the HP bars from Hasib Warriors. Look at the HP bar of Dagger. It's just barely a slither of HP. He has to check so many angles, worried about any kind of flank that could be coming up. But I like what Hasib Warriors are doing. They're doubling down. They're playing around each other. If one goes, you just straight it out. It's just simple, basic math at that point. You can have that long angle. You have someone holding down the bot side, but there's a Fenrir when you walk in. You're going to be blinded, and you have to find that Fenrir if you're Dagger, if you want to move up forward. But Baz, just quick peek around the corner, gets the shotgun to the face, gets the kill, and will secure map number 1. At least no overtime yet in semifinal 2.
Hasib Warriors taking map number 1, Cafe, denying overtime for Team UwU. And certainly Team UwU are going to be kicking themselves because of how this map ended up going. And why do we say that, folks? Well, it was a 4-2 first half for Team UwU. They had all the advantage in the world, and they certainly had quite the room to work with. Unfortunately, they then proceeded to lose 4 rounds in a row, and now here they are, 5-7 down, and forced into a potential reverse sweep situation in this best of 3. Because if they win map number 2, which is their pick, of course, Chalet is where they have chosen to go. If they win map number 2 Chalet, we will still have to go to map 3, and they will still have to fight their hearts out to get that victory for themselves. Whether or not they're able to, we will of course find out. But I gotta say, map 1, what a showing indeed for the side of Hasib Warriors. For the first half, they looked a little bit helter-skelter, a little bit unsure of themselves, but they got their groove pretty quickly, and once they found that rhythm, well, they were unstoppable.
And even also put in point, first half was their attack, right? Both teams' attack wasn't looking that solid. You were waiting a lot on the clock towards the ending part of the rounds. Baz gets that 1v3 that he has no right, honestly, getting at that point, but he played it beautifully at the end of the day. So props to the man for the way he had, got that round for himself. And the side of Hasib Warriors only ended up losing 1 round in defense. Other than that, it was pretty much clear sailing for themselves, right? Because 2 rounds were picked up from the side of Hasib Warriors in the time of their attack. It also looked a bit shaky. There are a pickup coming in later on. Didn't do the dividends that we hoped it could be paying out, but still, these kind of creativity makes sense. But this was, at the end of the day, the map pick of Hasib Warriors, right, going into this. So then Chalet will be coming out next. And the Chalet is a map that we have talked about time and time again. It's a map that I think is getting a bit stale in the scene because of the kind of hits that you can be going for, honestly, at this point. Just the bottom side, you can go from behind and front. You can get a bit of creativity coming there, but it's a map that's been played quite a bit, right? I think anybody who has been playing Siege for quite some time is used to it. These are the kind of maps that are not on the newer spectrum, they're on the older spectrum. Even Cafe is also pretty much like that, but you got the rework. Cafe Chalet is still lacking slightly in those kind of environments for themselves currently right now, but it depends on how much you want to actually reach, because we see interesting strategies coming out from Sea Warriors. You get the Grim getting banned out away, right? Like you're talking about important util getting banned, locked away. You get the Valkyrie gets banned out. So these kind of picks that we would kind of assume sometimes should become a bit more meta is now maybe becoming a bit more standard, and hopefully with time being on, it can go better for them. I think maybe the one slight mistake for Hasib Warriors is maybe letting through Mira for the side of UwU in that first phase, right? I didn't expect Mira to make his way through, and it did do a lot for the side of Team UwU.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that Mira pick was certainly quite hefty for Team UwU, and the fact that she didn't even get banned going into the second bit after ban number 3 for the first half, it definitely helped you. I'll give you that much. But I mean, there's only so much you can do when your first half is 4-2, but then you end up not getting any attack rounds all the way until round 11. And that, unfortunately, is, or was, I should say, Team UwU's biggest failing when it comes to how they played map number 1. Their attacks were just simply too uncoordinated. There was a little bit too much chaos happening. Their drones, well, they kept getting denied intel. They kept getting denied their space. And at the end of the day, even with the Grim ban, there are ways to make things work. You can bring in maybe a Monty or a Blitz, which we did see happen towards the very end there, with, I do believe, Dizzy bringing in the blitz for those final 2 rounds. It worked on round 11 kitchen, which, yes, they certainly needed that, but they needed that to work one more time for an overtime push. And even then, mind you, from what I do know, overtime would have started with Hasib Warriors on the defense. So it wouldn't exactly have been easy to win, even if you did go to overtime, because say they went overtime, right? They still were 2-4 down in the second half. So their momentum was completely chopped, as some would say. And well, after that, it would have been anybody's guess. Overtime, I mean, it is a roll of the dice every single time who will win a round. But all things considered, closing thoughts on Cafe, I will say, once again, Cafe Dostoevsky proves that it is a little bit more defender-sided than maybe we give it credit for, and it is certainly quite the map in this qualifiers, I should say. I keep saying playoffs because I'm used to saying playoffs when we're at the tail end of a tournament, but playoffs is the final phase of this tournament after the 2 qualifiers as discussed previously. So it is what it is. But what is coming up soon? Well, the stat sheet for map number 1. But after that, it will be map number 2, Chalet, as Madness pointed out earlier. And map 2, Chalet, well, Chalet has been played quite a lot as of recently, right? And with good reason. Chalet is one of those maps that sees so much dynamic action and constant switches in its playstyle, but we'll get to that in just a sec, folks. Let's have a look at the numbers here, and who has the best entry? It is Drish, surprisingly. It is 4-1 in terms of first kill for Drish, and that is actually quite the conversion when you realize that almost everybody has 1 entry, except for a couple of players. Dizzy and Beat not really going for entry. That wasn't really their role. They were mostly playing supports and playing on the back foot, so understandably so. And on the other end, 13-9 to Daisy, having the highest kills in the lobby, though not by much, as Baz is 12-8. Very, very close in terms of the numbers as well.
Yeah, and then you have to also look at Taha, right? He's almost the opposite in terms of the first kills for Drish. Like, he got picked off quite a few times, and we were pointing out during the match itself how this is looking for him. Is not looking on the better side, and he had performance given the kind of player that he is, right? 5 kills to 11. That's not what we expect of a player of Taha's caliber. But that's just map number 1. Maybe just shaking up some nerves heading into map number 2. But yeah, Drish coming up huge. These opening frags converted into a lot for his team. A couple of the rounds that they ended up winning was due to the way they got that man advantage. It's just about the clock ticking down when you are in the attacking half. It is hard for them to honestly do anything about it if you don't actually capitalize as much as you want. Hasib doing his job. Everybody honestly doing the job from the side of Hasib Warriors. Like, both teams lacking in attack, but that is maybe given it's a defender side matter, like we're coming to know Cafe as right now. But that has been map number 1, ladies and gentlemen. We will be jumping into map number 2, Chalet. But before that, before the action resumes, we'll take a very short break.
and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.
All right then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series for Rainbow Six Siege X here on Frag Nation in partnership with Ubisoft. My name is Blackjack, once again joined by my co-host Madness as we are back for map number 2 in this second semifinal of Qualifier 1. That is correct, we are map number 2, and for those who might be joining us just now or may have missed map number 1 for whatever reason, it is currently 1-0 to Hasib Warriors, who are taking on Team UwU after Hasib Warriors pulled off quite the reversal, being 2-4 down in the first half, going 7-5 up. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into map number 2 in just a hot second here, as it is going to be Chalet. Madness, you gave me this question last time. I want to give it back to you. What do you think could be, or what should be, your predictions for Chalet?
Okay, even before the days I had asked me then also, I would have slightly said Hasib Warriors 2-0. Because of what I've seen from them, but the UwU put up a very good fight. The attack maybe slightly scattered in the map of Cafe, and maybe now this is their map pick with Chalet. They can bring in some dynamic, some creativity might come in with the kind of takes. It's even better because the offsides on this map are something that to behold, because it's so hard to get in depending on how you actually want to navigate it, honestly, at the end of the day. So technically I would still, maybe for this scoreline, for this map itself, put it 7-5 for the side of the Hasib Warriors, but honestly can go 7-5 even UwU's way. But for myself, personal opinion at least, I would maybe just put Hasib Warriors just that slight edge above currently right now from what I have seen them perform. And I really love that every single time that UwU's on the attack, they are banning out this Valkyrie. They did it in map number 1, they're gonna do it in map number 2 as well. The Dokkaebi hits the deck with the hands of Hasib Warriors as we get to see the last 2 bans coming in over here. It looks to be the Ace and the Zami. The Ace makes complete sense. The Zami as well. Their Mira is left open as well, so that basement take could be very hard to take.
Interesting bans here, especially considering the fact that it is Chalet, and the reason I say that is because both Mira and Kaid have been left open to play. Bandit, of course, we see every now and again because the Kaid gets banned, but in this case, Kaid is allowed, so full electrification is going to happen on that basement site. Hatches will be hard to open, so will the walls, and I'm pretty sure Fatar is going to be doing a little bit of bandit tricking, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like Kaid's Electro Claws are going to be used up instead to hold down the trench walls and the basement hallway walls that overlook the big garage. So all things considered, a good allocation of resources coming in, and like you said, with the Mira in play, basement push is going to be made that much harder because he can bet that that single wall right by the rotate in wine cellar, that's going to be where one Mira window will be. The other one, well, depends on where Taha and the rest of Hasib Warriors want to place it. And also, when you look at the guns that are in play for Hasib Warriors, you've got essentially two DMRs. I know that the TCSG is considered a slug shotgun, but you got to remember that thing is about as spammable and about as dangerously powerful as a DMR, so it's going to be a difficult attack, definitely, for Team UwU.
Yeah, I think the only difference is like slight lower in the magazine numbers, but everything else is exactly on point with what you have said over there already. A Lion Charge will be coming into play earlier on into the round. You can see you have brought in a Thermite. You have Dagger as well. The EMP should be in the hands of that Grid, but already you can see Desi has hit the deck. Taha's going to get that opening frag onto Desi, onto the IQ, trying to walk in. So the already effects not going to be happening up on that side. Will the banditry come in? No, it it will not. The wall has been opened up into garage as well. Dagger gets the kill onto Zidux, so trades come in. That's going to be the kite going down, and Hasib gets the kill onto Drish. So now 4 versus 2 in for the defenders for Hasib Warriors, and this is an open wall, but there's only 2 members left for you have to maybe get a pick or 2 before you try to head it. I don't see any mirrors right now actually being placed to actually deal with this. Is clear open side. No one's actually giving him maybe any avenues, any peak advantages. He hears the door open up over there. He's too late to react. He's trying to maybe fire back with the C4 came to say hello. A Kobe coming in on to Dagger's head over there. That just leaves DZZ in a slight but not impossible situation. Almost gets the kill onto that Arumi there, but no, just in time the head gets knocked down below. He's maybe going to think about it. He has a lot of time to work in on this clock over here, maybe give a chance for Team UwU to get their thoughts about what they want to do next round, because this seems like it just will not be going their way just because of simple math right now. He's gonna come back to this same door, and he's not baited Hasib Warriors at all anywhere away from this. There's 3 people just close by. You can see the prone peak is coming in. He's already walked into the hallway, but no, right now Thermite does end up backing away. He won't get caught out. He's looking for maybe a run out just in case, and spam here comes to the window, just barely misses out onto the head of Thermite. Here comes the outside the door warning. Enemy has been detected. He's going with the mirror playing peekaboo over this barrier over there on the wall, the stone half wall essentially, and he's still just going for these kind of peaks. DZZ just cannot connect the shot in time. He's still going to be hammering away. You've located him in a corner. This is going to be the defense becoming the attackers. They're going to be taking the complete control. They've backed DZZ into a corner. Time is running down. Maybe just get a couple of frags, but Fatar says no to that. With a clean headshot takes DZZ out of this match, and a very good and dominating statement being put in over here from the side of Hasib Warriors in round number 1.
What a way to start off map number 2, keeping all that momentum that they gained from the second half of Cafe. And now here in Chalet, they find themselves certainly in a good position, at least to start us off. Early rounds, of course, on any map, you take the time to download your opponent, you take the time to gather that information and that intel, I should say, on how they're playing, what their styles are, and what you can kind of come to expect. Well, from the side of Hasib Warriors, I think UwU can certainly expect a fair amount of aggression on this map, because that's exactly what we saw, right? The Mira didn't even bother to put down her mirrors inside of the site. I believe it was all off-site mirrors that helped the defense get a lot of intel and a lot of space creation, because that's what the Black Mirror is so good at doing, right? When an attacker stares down a Black Mirror, especially in powerful corner positions or on very, like, heavy thoroughfares, say for instance mezzanine in second floor, or this the wall here in office, that usually if the site is on second floor, you oh dear me, no. That was an accident. That is unfortunate. Zetas can get revived because of the Thunderbird gadget right there, so you know, not all is lost, and he's got more Kona stations to go to so that he can get his health back up to full. So you know, it'll be fine, hopefully, and Zedix just has to be careful about where he decides to go from here.
Zenas is just looking at Fatar with menacing looks right now, but the round has already begun, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2 minutes and 25 seconds there on the clock. Default cameras have been shot on the 3F site, on the 2F site as well, on top, but it is somewhere else where they actually have to put your focus. Daisy is lurking over here. Nice chip hold made through the floorboard, so which the gridlock has been put down for just, you know, catching out any flankers just in case, because mind you, this is the kitchen side, it's not a 2F side. And the 2F part has to be put as a stronghold. You can see breaching actually happening above, and the mirror is coming into effect over here. You're gonna give everybody, and finally Xerox is back to full HP. Thankfully, Thunderbird, but Baz not expecting the repel on the window, but Fatar quick to the mark, gets the trade kill onto Dagger over there, equalizing the numbers. It's now a 4 versus 4 as the round continues over there. The gridlocks are coming in, but they're getting chipped away at as well. And with the Thunderbird available, Taha might even look to get a heal later, but most of the Thunderbirds are on the top of the floor, mind you, and with this nade, now this wall is going to be looked to be breached over here.
That is the most important aspect of, pushing kitchen. You gotta get that wall open just underneath the balcony, of course. And with control on second floor being established slowly but surely, that's gonna allow Team UwU to get that wall open pretty quickly. But they did not see the mirror window, at least Drish didn't, or the call out that was given wasn't expected that there was gonna be Fatar sitting right behind that. That leaves IQ alone here inside of office with not a whole lot of space to work with. Damage dealt, and that's gonna force Daisy to just kind of play on the back foot, stay above potentially, at least to pressure the defenders a little bit, wait for someone to come and support, and that's exactly what's happening. Two attackers, I should say, now in office. That's Daisy and Dizzy, the D&D combo right here. But the question is, can they get that Fatar away from the mirror window? No, they don't see the flank from the Jaeger. Coming up main stairs, Dizzy falls on the other side to Taha, and it's all aces here. Taha getting another one, and that is going to be all she wrote for the second round of attack here on Chalet. Hasib Warriors 2-0.
They did get that nice surprise pick earlier on, but instantly traded by Fatar. The rotations were cut off, but Xerox walks through it, and then unfortunate mishap that early in the round gets him healed up anyway. And I think leaving this mirror open is proving fatal to the side of UwU right now. We seem to have a pause maybe as well as they maybe get a grips of what is actually happening, because it's already 2 rounds into map number 2, and both rounds have gone to Hasib Warriors. They're 2-0 against Team UwU, and they are the team that have that 1 map advantage in the series as well, mind you. And it looks like they're going to go bar and gaming room. They're not even going to be touching 2F as of yet. They're very confident in the kind of picking that they have gone for, and they have a game plan that they are doing very well. I don't even think kitchen wall was open. I think the nade actually ended up failing over there, so that actually adds a bit of more misery to the side of UwU. They couldn't do much in that scenario, and 1-by-1 they just ended up getting picked off. Not enough answers coming back, not enough trade kills coming in through, and right now completely in the back foot. Now they have to start getting rounds, otherwise this is the momentum that Hasib Warriors is looking to ride this way through the entire series.
Certainly in these first 2 rounds, Hasib Warriors has shown us quite a good, quite a good beginning to Chalet. And the interesting fact about Chalet here, well, not only is the fact that it is UwU's map pick, they decided to bring Hasib Warriors here. They probably wanted Cafe to go their way. I mean, ideally you would, right? That gives you map point. But on the other side, Chalet, to a certain extent, is actually considered attacker-sided when it comes to the wider zeitgeist of Rainbow Six Siege, excuse me, especially in terms of competitive. Now, Chalet, or old Chalet, pre-rework, definitely was attacker-sided, and now here with this version of Chalet, it is still slightly leaning towards that. Whether or not that remains the case, of course, as the matches proceed, especially this particular match, is yet to be seen. But I think the defining factor here for Hasib Warriors has certainly been that Mira. These first 2 rounds, we have seen that Mira be put to incredibly good use, and it's one of those reasons that Mira gets banned constantly when it comes to a lot of the maps, Chalet being one of them, of course. Now, with all that said, Mira isn't exactly the be-all, end-all of this map. There are ways to play around her. There are ways to make the Mira no longer effective. You can bring in a twitch. You can bring in maybe some verticality, depending on if you know where the Mira windows are. But the way that Hasib Warriors have played and placed those black mirrors, especially the one on second floor inside of Closet, right? That one is really hard to deal with because the site is kitchen. And it is, the black mirror itself is in a spot that you can't really get it out of because there's like a reinforcement on the bathroom wall, there's a reinforcement behind her on the solarium wall, so there's no way for you to like aggress on that black mirror. And so all you can really do is all you can really do is just try and find a way to get into second floor and force the mirror out. And well, as we saw, that doesn't really help or work in this regard. With that said, we're finally into round number 3, folks. I had a little bit of a moment of unstable ping issues, but it has been stabilized. We are right. Wow, okay, got a bit of a Western twang there in my words. Right back into round number 3 as we have the Frost being brought in by Zedux.
Linux will be bringing the Frost, and Fatar yet again will be having the Mira available to him, right? That's been proving to be one of the operators very hard to deal with from the side of Team UwU. And we might even have a Blackbeard switch coming in later on in the stage from that Hibana, and the line gets switched off Thermite. We even have Dagger bringing in the Brava and an Aurora. Aurora apparently on the map as well. So maybe interesting takes can come in. Maybe we will think this is their chance to strike. Bring out a comp that you're not that familiar from the side as Hasib Warriors in this kind of situation. But I think you have to work your verticality much on a faster pace. And just look at the setup over here. It's hard to honestly deal with anything. You have castle barricades. You're going to have the mirror wall setup. She's going to be just holed up in this alcove over here between those two rooms. Basically, she's going to have a very nice time, especially with the backup available to her. A long angle by Dagger opened up in to the side of library, but there's a Mira waiting for you there. You have to be careful about how you peek. You have to go for a lot of pre-fires and hopefully hope that you end up hitting the head of Fatar. If that does not happen, it's harder to actually enter on that point for yourself because you have an Ashe to deal with. You have maybe a Blackbeard that can walk up to, but Zedux has complete control of library stairs as well with a deployable shield to play behind. But Dagger will be getting the first kill onto Zedux, and Hasib has also been knocked down. TZZ will be claiming that kill in a quick span of seconds. Two people knocked out by Hasib Warriors already. UwU with that two-man advantage, 5 versus 3 right now as they look to be fighting over, as well as you can see the Blackbeard just coming in. DZZ working his magic. He's charging through pretty fearlessly, does not mind anything. He's going to be pinging, the holes at the bottom of the wall that can use to spam it out. He's going to maybe even use it to break it open with the Blackbeard shield. He's just waiting for the timing right now. Look at Baz. He's holding the window, but for right now, he's actually not going to be able to get anything, and a recharge will be going down. You open up doors, but there are a lot of castles also getting pinged up. The Aurora comes in to effect on the windowsill over there. Also, I mean, on the doorway. A good angle is held by Taha, but if he doesn't get a pick, this could be detrimental to him. He gives away his position with a suppress UMP. If any sound cue is there, Team UwU should know exactly where this castle is playing on the stairs right now. Peaks should be coming in as well. Drish with a long angle, but right for now, they cannot get this Mira out of that side. I think maybe now they can turn their attention to the bottom stairs, but instead Fatar comes back up the stairs, gets the pick onto Dagger instead. 30 seconds left on the clock. Will this be a repeat of Team UwU just running down the clock and losing it pretty much to time? They have the man advantage. Fatar's on low HP. They can start making their way to side, and I think they've heard, because that's exactly what they seem to be doing. And Taha gonna be retreating down to the fireplace stairs, and Pete gets the kill onto Baz. The last one to fall will be Taha over there. Finally, this time is not the one that makes them lose. It's gonna be them winning out in terms of kills in this matchup, and them securing their first round in map number 2.
All right, Team UwU put themselves on the board, and better late than never. Well, it's not really late, but it is late by their standards. Even then, well played. And yep, those are the expected bans, I think we can say here. Blackbeard in this previous round, a linchpin of that attack, especially with the way that they pushed through first floor kitchen hallway, right? Because you had Hasib down there who was trying to be a little bit of a menace, right? With the Melusi. He got downed early, and then we had another operator, or defender I should say, fall on the other part of the map, and really there was just no recovering from there, although they definitely came close, I will say. So UwU, good play on round number 3. They've given themselves a little bit of leeway to work with here, and even with the Blackbeard ban, of course, that doesn't mean that they are out of shield options, as Dizzy has brought out the Blitz. So looks like we're gonna have shielders galore, and understandably so. The defense has certainly shown that they will need to be forced out of their power positions, and a shielder in this case has proven to work for them. With all that said, the Brava is still in play, but the Twitch comes in after the Mira has been banned, which is interesting to think about, because normally you would see Twitch be brought in pretty quickly seeing a Mira in play. Twitch is one of Mira's hard counters after all, right? But, it is what it is. Team UwU might have had a reasoning for it that we may get to know later on. For the time being, round number 4 is in play, and the final
3
3 rounds of the second half, these are going to be very exciting.
Absolutely. As we even have a Demos in the picture in the hands of Desi, and looks like the Blitz got switched up for the Capita at the end of the day. So no shield right now available to. Ooh, maybe we'll be looking for fasting, and with Desi from the floorboards below with the Demos that mark available to him, maybe looking for some picks. But I also like to point out, yeah, that Twitch pickup later on, maybe. We have to ask them about it honestly, because with that mirror in play, I would have expected the Twitch coming out earlier if this is part of the game plan anyway. But look at the hole that has been created on the window over there. Oh my god, does Hasib know someone's close on the right of the window? Now he will. The peak comes in. There was a lot of shots fired, but no damage honestly taken. Instead, Baz actually ends up taking quite a beating on the other side of the map. Hasib is still looking to maybe get the peak. He's been challenging over here, even looking towards the ground floor. And on the bottom side, Desi actually gets knocked down and taken out by Baz. Baz actually, I think, got spammed by Desi earlier on with the death mark. Instead, DZZ will get the counter engagement onto Fatar. It's been neutralized numbers to 4 versus 4. Both DZZ and Baz are low on HP after the exchanges that did take place. But that's a Demos out of the picture, which is okay. And you still have your Capital available to you. You still have your Hibana recharges. But talking about that, Baz gets knocked down as well. I hope somebody can come up and pick this man. He's trying to crawl his way to safety. In the meantime, Taha is the kill on to DZZ. He gets another one onto Beat, but not before he got another member of his own on that side, because Patar ends up going down as well. It's a 3 versus 2 in favor of the Hasib Warriors. And now you can see Taha walking back up Solarium stairs. Hasib gets another pick onto Drish. All that remains is Dagger and 3 other members, but that is not enough. Zedux will pick up the kill on the Ash. A quick peek onto the window, gets the kill onto the Ash. Ash was holding the corner, but that's the Peeker's advantage coming into play. Hasib Warriors will be notching their 3rd number round in map number 2.
I gotta say, I like what I'm seeing from Hasib Warriors here on Chalet. I mean, it makes sense. Once again, this was quite the map that they have played. Well, I say quite the map. This is a map that every team has played quite a bit, especially in the last few years. Right now, of course, a few years ago, around about 0, 5 years, 6, we would be saying the same about a certain Oregon, right? But ever since Oregon got removed from competitive play, and understandably so, that map was overpicked to hell and back. Well, Chalet and Clubhouse have kind of taken that spot since, right? We see these two maps in almost every single Siege competitive match. Even Cafe doesn't get played as much as Clubhouse, and certainly Chalet is, I would say, most played right after. Whether or not that is region-specific, of course, is debatable at the end of the day. But the reason I bring all that up is because this is a map pick by Team UwU, right? I've mentioned this before. So they certainly had the confidence to bring Chalet into the conversation. However, they have not been able to back up that confidence here so far. They are 1-3 down instead. If they are hoping for the defense second half to go their way, well, they certainly have their work cut out for them. Ideally now, they go equal half, right? 3-3, going into the second half, and kind of force a reset into the second half. If they're successful in that, there's a very good chance of them actually forcing the map 3 to be played. However, even if it's 2-4 down against them, I will say their chances are going to look pretty slim.
Zedux gets his head taken out by DZZ. He was looking for one window, not aware about the other windows. Kind of a cross angle being developed by Team UwU over there. So the first pickings of this round number 5 going to the hands of Team UwU. They still have a lot of work to do if they want to enter up into the side. So we've been quite a bit. Again, we're going to kitchen, right? So the 2F site is a 2F floor is very good to take for yourself if you are the attackers. You want that control. You want the verticality coming in for yourself. And this time, Desi hasn't gone down earlier on. He does still have Demos. I'm not sure who he can actually target with the death mark, who is actually being red pinged from the side of the Hasib Warriors as of now. We can see some breach charges actually going on. No, for now, nothing as of sort. It's just DZZ opening yet again the same thing, but no, this time he fails with the gridlock. Hopefully the second one will go through, and it does go through to the fireplace stairs below. We've seen him use this strat or this first side hiccup, but now actually ends up going for himself. It is a 4 versus 4 because while I was talking about that, Beat actually got taken out as well. So in this scenario, you don't have your doors anyway open. You have the upside down Dagger, but he comes out on top, gets another as well. First gets Hasib, now will be picking up onto Fatar. That's a 2-0 going in for Dagger's favor. So he's going to be very happy about that. All that is left is Baz and Taha alone. The MP7 brothers on site. Let's see how well they can do. Finally, the breach will be opening up as well. You're still sitting on the 2F side. DZZ will make short work of Baz. All that's left is Taha. And he's very questionable about where he should be positioning, honestly, for himself. All the attackers are above. They have 40 seconds to work on the clock. But I think they will now start making their way back into side, as well as Deimos is there close by. DZZ finally gets the last pick up onto the. I think he was already getting marked by the death mark. Anyway, not many places he could go. And now we see some life getting breathed back into Team UwU. One step closer to equalizing, at least for the closing of the half.
I think there was certainly a case to be made for Hasib Warriors being a little too overeager in the previous round, especially on that bedroom big window peak, right? You don't usually have two players peeking that. The Kaid from down below, I do understand. That's a powerful angle to use against someone going on the upside down rappel. And yeah, to a certain extent, I understand it. But at the same time, after the Kaid fell, or even with the Kaid contesting it, I don't see why the other defender also decided to contest the same window. Because an upside down rappel is always going to be an inherently powerful position, right? The actual window of error to find the attacker's head is very, very slim because of just how kind of the physics of rappelling work in Rainbow Six and how much sightline is actually exposed to you versus how much you think it's exposed to you. There's always that little bit of dissonance there that I think got Hasib Warriors as defenders caught a little bit unawares in that last round. Those two bodies dropping really did switch the round, the flow of the round, I should say. And UwU took full advantage of it. Good on them for doing so. Now, with that said, it is still 3-2. Hasib Warriors are still in the round lead, but they are losing that momentum that they had built up in the first 4 rounds, especially with losing the 5th right here and now. But now, interestingly enough, ZDX has decided to go lone wolf and has brought out the Vigil, pretty much an anti-intel operator. Run out from Taha, very ill-advised. Even if there wasn't a Claymore right there, there was a drone watching that window, and that drone might have been thrown as a distraction as well. So regardless, he was going to get taken out, and with that said, the breach has been taken care of as well.
Breach get taken care of as well. Dagger ends up going down as soon as the breach gets put away. But look at the hunt going up on the 2F. I don't know why we scams that point. Daisy gets the kill onto ZDux over there on the top side. So that's the Vigil going down and out as well. The Lone Wolf no longer going to be allowed for this matchup. 3 members left for Hasib Warriors. The 4 members left of breach charge has been opened up as well. Garage is wide open for the taking. It's about the kind of presence you want to. The long angles are there with the DMR from the Arumi, but we're not actually catching anybody out as of now. Hasib making a rotation from 1F, looking to maybe going down the fireplace stairs essentially over there, create more distraction for his own team, help them out. You even see a Arumi wall halfway up through the breach that was actually made on that side. A very cheeky, nice angle, but it's a very expected angle in blue that is being held by Fatar currently right now. But they have to be careful of the man advantage that is in the hands of UwU. Here comes the smoke lines as well. You're going to deny a lot in terms of energy, but DZZ on the way in gets knocked down as well. Hasib Warrior will be picking up the kill. Baz gets the kill with the Arumi gets actually beat, gets the trade kill onto him. Finally, it's now equal numbers. A 2 versus 2 over here, and now sprinting down the hallway is going to be the Melusi.
2v2 with 40 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time here for Team UwU's attackers to try and get the plant going, and that's exactly what they'll be doing here. Drish deep inside of Wine Cellar with the exterior being watched by Beat, and he's going to be aggressed upon, but no, he looks away at just the wrong time, and that is going to be Hasib's downfall. He expected someone to be out there, but I think he got the call that maybe the thermite was peeking, or he heard something on his right. He decided to look away, and that took so much HP away from that Melusi at the tail end there, leaving Hasib with nothing to work with, nothing in his hands. and unfortunately, the round slipped away despite the potential of that 1v2. With that said, beautifully played by Team UwU to equalize despite how chaotic the mid-round was in round number 6, and they've managed to equalize it 3-3 going into round number 7. Definitely what they needed there, especially the momentum from winning these last 2 rounds. Ban phase for the second half, of course, is taken care of, and that is going to be somewhat standard, with the only outlier kind of being the Grim, but even then, Grim is a consistent trend in the bans for both of these teams. So once again, it's Blackbeard Grim on the attacker side, Azami and Valkyrie on the defense, with Mira being available but not being picked by UwU's defense in this first. Oh, actually, no, has been picked. Never mind, I didn't see it. She has been brought in, and understandably so. Why wouldn't you bring in Mira when you have her available?
Yeah, you have a mirror available, why not use it? You could see how much it was abused by Hasib Warriors in their own defense, essentially, for themselves. And yeah, you're definitely going to be bringing that in. You're going to have your setup very nicely set up for yourself. Again, you're going to a 1F side at the beginning, right? So this is a very interesting take. We're not going basement first either. We're just going to start off 1F, maybe throw off Hasib Warriors if you don't get your drones in, don't get to know the location of the site, because there's a Maverick right now being hovered by Baz. If that goes to fruition, it would be hard for him to actually get full utilization of it, and their blitz is going to be coming into the It's been locked in. Vatar has the floors. There's a lion for Hasib, and Zedux at least has the sledge for verticality if he wants to bring it in. But Desi does have the F nets, prevents a lot. Finally, the mirror walls, the black mirrors will be going down as well, and you have the Wamai to back him up. You're going to be putting up. You have to be careful because the spams are going to be coming through. You have to be careful of now you're setting up, because now the attackers are going to be close by. Not quite sure how well you want to be setting up at this crucial point in the game. All windows just going to be broken. We're going to cross long angles from the rooftops, essentially from the side of Hasib Warriors. We're just holding in case anybody just chooses to honestly jump in through that window. I don't think anyone's going to be jumping in without droning completely whatsoever, but you're just going to keep it just in case. Better to be safe than sorry, honestly, in that. An upside down repel catches nobody right now from the side of Fatar, and you can see this a sneaky approach coming in from Baz and Zedux. They've walked themselves in from the basement side. Another side, you see quick trades coming in. Baz ends up going now, so does DZZ. You're opening up the footholds basically on that wall, but now you can spot out a blitz. Now the Spidey Sentinels should be taking from UwU. They have to prevent him from coming into the building, but he ends up walking. Hasib actually ends up picking up Dagger off screen, and Fatar gets Drish, who's coming to maybe get the pick up onto the blitz. Blitz is actually going to end up planting the diffuser. It's 1 minute 30 seconds left in the round, and he cuts the diffuser down already. This is one of the fastest plants we have seen throughout the semi-finals, and all that's left is beat with this SMG. But there's a blitz crack there's a blitz that is chasing you pretty much over here. You can run away from him, but you're going to fall into the arms of Xenox, who's going to take you openly over this freakle. He's not even aware anybody could be close by. So the first attack round actually going really well for Z Warriors. A lot of panic in the camp of Team UwU.
I will say Hasib Warriors played that incredibly fast and tight, as normally, you know, I would say fast and loose, but not in their case. They were very well coordinated. They had their drones in the right place. They had their mines in the right place, and they pushed with supreme confidence. There was only so much that Team UwU could do, as they lost bodies so very quickly. Especially, I do like the way that they used the Blitz, right? Blitz wasn't going to be going out roam hunting. He wasn't going to do like top down or whatever have you. No grand adventures this time for the German shielder. Instead, he was the one to go in the site to essentially play a role similar to what you would expect a Monty to play, right? Be the big distraction that takes their attention away and let the other attackers find those kills from the defenders who no longer are paying attention to their off angles. And that is pretty much what happened, right? Now the Blitz has been swapped out this round. Instead, Baz has gone for an Amaru. That is certainly a choice, one of the choices of all time, I should say. But Amaru can certainly be played quite well. Yeah, I mean, oh wait, there's a Nook as well. Wait, what is... Okay.
Exactly.
What are they thinking here?
They're trying to cook something, definitely, with the Amaru Nook pick coming in for them. They're feeling themselves after that last round. I think they rightfully show that the game plan working to perfection. Honestly, they just get caught out trying to get the blitz from above. You get the counter picks. The bait works perfectly, and even in this round, Beat takes quite a beating earlier on into the round. Very less HP available to him right now. Here comes the first lion charge as well. You're gonna spot out the Woman. Already Hasib has made his mark, catches out onto Beat, who was already low. Just a few more bullets signified his demise, and he ends up hitting the deck at that point. But with the man advantage, we'll see how fast you want to end up working this away for yourself. The Maru, I've not seen it actually enter the building or seen the effect that you wanted, and the looks always going to be there. So you're trying to be sneaky about how you want to go in. Oh no, we have fallen from the building over here. Blackjack and Fatar definitely does not want to see this one in the highlight reel.
Oh dear me, Fathar. That's the second time he's been down early round due to unfortunate circumstances. Nearly got team killed in the defense half, right, that one time. And now he finds himself very low on health due to circumstances that, well, some will say were under his control, but it is what it is, right? Diffuser has been dropped and someone else is going to have to pick that up. Fathar can't exactly go for the plant right about now, and I don't think he wants to, as it looks like the side of Hasib Warriors, they're instead going to focus on getting second floor control, which they were already doing, yes, to a certain extent. However, it slowed down tremendously after that first kill onto Beat. Here comes another Lion scan, and that's going to be Dizzy's position given away. Zetas finds one, but only to get traded by Dizzy in that moment. The Wamai on blue stairs certainly doing a lot of good work, but he doesn't know. The Flores comes around, gets one, gets traded immediately by Daisy, who's still on second floor. They still haven't fully cleared this out, and Dagger is holding sight on the other side. 2v3 in this situation for the defenders. UwU has some time to reconsolidate this, but the Ellis position is known, and you can see Hasib just more than content with holding down the angle. There we go. He was quiet, he was patient, and it worked out for him. 1v3 now to Dagger, the last one standing. His position in pantry given away, and now they know where he is. They know which angles to be careful of. Shots fired. He's about a little over half health right now. The drone now has his position, and he's going to get aggressed upon. 10 seconds and less. Baz wants to go for the plant. C4 is out. Will not find much of anything. And there we go. Baz going for the plant, understandably so. Trying to extend the timer. Here comes the grenade to force the warden out of the pantry area. He's now in wide open, and there we go. It's high noon, fellas, as the revolver comes out. And Hasib puts him down. Or I should say the Lion puts him down.
Lion does put him down. A good work around this map of how they wanted to play it out. Honestly, at the point I thought maybe Fathar's fatal fall would be their fatal mistake in this round, but just in time, Hasib actually coming in clutch for his team on the top side, on the 2F, right, catching out the Ella, being a bit calm, masking his presence over. Ella just not anticipating anyone just around the corner, walks in to the inside to the crosses of the quick headshot, fails him off, and in the end with the grenade you flush out Warden as well. You get the pick onto him. It was a nice pre-fire across the wall. At the end, use the revolver to finish the job. I think we might even have a slight rehost coming in over here, because two players seem to have left the lobby. Not quite sure about that. It seems that we might just be having the rehost. Yes, everyone seems to be leaving for the TV. They don't want to have the same kind of mistake that was done early on in yesterday's semi-final, right, where we took some time and then we went back for the reroll. But Hasib Warriors riding this momentum right now as they head into this 9th round, right? They have a good lead on it. There are one map point already secured for themselves. They end up winning this, and it's going to be the series for them heading into face against Blitzkrieg into Mars. But Team UwU are still trying to fight back. Unfortunately for them, these early pickups are not the way you want to be playing out the round, essentially, right? You're giving a lot of room for the attackers to come in. You're giving a lot of space up without taking that much fight. And when you're taking the fights, you're unfortunately losing a lot of your gunfights. So they have to start working on these things. Maybe try and pick up on some tendencies that Hasib Warriors might try to actually go for, and maybe find those kind of avenues to try and punish them.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of Hasib Warriors, the attackers, being really good at just kind of crawling all over the map, right? They are all over the place. You can't really find one group of them and pin them down, as they have had the room to work with. Especially, I do like the way the Nook played in that last round. Always in an off angle, always in an unexpected spot, being that nuisance, that distraction that we saw. But with that said, folks, we'll be back in just a moment. We're going to talk about this more in just a hot second here while we get the players back in. Until then, stay tuned.
You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.
Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series here for Rainbow Six Siege X at Frag Nation in association and partnership with Ubisoft. My name is Blackjack. We're back once again with my co-host Madness, as we had to take a small break right there for a technical difficulty and a rehost that has happened. I mean, it's South Asian Rainbow Six, folks. It is to be expected. The rehost has been taken care of and we'll be getting right back into it. It is map number 2, Chalet, with Hasib Warriors taking on Team UwU. And Hasib Warriors, last we checked in on them, were 5-3 up going into round number 9. It's round number 9 again, Madness, where we had the rehost just like yesterday in map number 2. So maybe round number 9 is cursed, depends on how you look at it. If it happens to get in grand finals, we will definitely be calling it the round 9 curse. But with that said, 5-3 up, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Indeed, the rehost will be coming through, so you have to keep in mind what the bans were at that point, and we would like to see, after this, we're going to get to see the third ban pretty much coming out from both these teams. But for now, we're going for the standard Thatcher and Thermite, so they're anticipating it's going to be that basement hit. They've even bring in a Glass and a Blackbeard. I like the operator selection, and a Blitz as well. This looks like a full-on ham entry. 2 shields plus the standard entry breaching, plus you have the Glass with the smokes as well. I think this is going to be a hard time as well. I think we have to think about what the kind of bans are going to be. I think maybe Rio's coming through. I think the Blackbeard was banned out. If not, if
He
I
was, yes.
remember correctly, yes. So if he was banned out, this cannot actually go through. So we're going to actually have to rethink the position. I think we're already leaving. So another rehost seems to be on the clock over here, Mr. Blackjack. And like you pointed out, it's not Southeast Asian League of Legends, South Asian League of Legends without a bit of these rehost shenanigans coming through. This is the R6 that we know. We've come to love it. Like, you know, the love-hate relationship that we have to just end up dealing with. But that's just the kind of scenario it is. But we will be jumping shortly into the action, guys. Don't go anywhere, or we take a short break while we sort out the issues.
You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the South Asia Elite Community Series for Rainbow Six Siege X here on Frag Nation in partnership with Ubisoft. We're your hosts, Blackjack and Madness, back once again after a little bit of technical difficulty relating to bans in the lobby, and you know how it is. It's South Asian Rainbow Six. We've been down this road before. With that said, for those who might be joining us, for those who might be late to the stream, why are you late to the stream? You should be here from the very beginning. But with that said, quick recap. It is Hasib Warriors taking on Team UwU. It's map number 2 between these two teams, and it is Chalet, which is 5-3 in favor of Hasib Warriors, and we'll be getting right into it here and now.
We will definitely be in. I think the second video was because the bans did not just manifest in front of us, but now you do get to see exactly what was banned out. If it's just a reminder for people who are not there before, the Valkyrie Azami not available, the Blackbeard and the Grim also not available, and it seems we're going to be going down the same route from the side of Hasib Warriors. They're anticipating the basement dig, so instead of the Blitz, I think that's the only change coming in. No, the Blitz is still there. Actually, it's going to be Thatcher and Thermite with a Blitz, a Monty, and a Glass. 2 shields. They're just basically the Blackbeard with the Monty. Exactly what they've done. Given that the Blackbeard was banned, I think they had forgotten about that at the earlier stage. But heading into the round, you can see Capcan traps galore. That makes complete sense when you're seeing all those, your shields coming in. Plus, you have your Legion, you have the Frostmines, you even have Goyos to deliver, plus the F-net. So every single operator on the side of who is being played as a trap operator. They're not even going to be bringing in the Mira at all, even though it is open for the basement side take. And last time we saw very interesting Mira setup from the side of Hasib Warriors when they had basement. They didn't even block out anything this side. They had Mirror World basically facing inwards. F9 is being placed at the end part of the prep phase during the start of the actual round, and steel barricades, actually reinforced walls coming up as well. Drone coming in from Blitz, trying to make sure if it's safe to jump in from there or not. A Claymore prep for the round, and very fast recharge actually coming in. So the hard breach coming in from the thermic. The exothermic charge opens up the garage wall already at the 2-minute 30-second mark actually at this point. And here comes the Thatcher just in case anything was being pumped on the side. The flames are going to come in as well. It's going to prevent a lot of time, but albeit it's been open at early point, so they don't mind this time being wasted right now. Hasib once Piece already gets the kill onto Dagger as well, and the plant's going down. There's no one to stop it. Baz actually ends up picking up Dizzy as well as Zedux gets beat, and the plant's gone down very successfully. It's a very fast take coming in from the side of Hasib Warriors. Only 2 members alive from Drish and Daisy have a mountain in front of them that they need to climb, and they're even being flamed out as well. They can't even walk any further whatsoever down these staircases. They're trying to get a peek through the window. I don't think it's going to be of much use, and you can already see the Monty's roamed up further. The Blitz is channeling there on the spiral stairs as well, near the fireplace stairs, and they're pushing, just trying to honestly get the kill. At the end of the day, it's a flawless round coming Hasib Warriors from the break. The break was taken, but their momentum was not at all broken.
Good golly, that was quite the round from Hasib Warriors. They said, you know what? When it comes to basement, what do we normally see? We see a lot of verticality, we see roam clear, we see a bunch of process and this and that. And they said, you know what? To hell with all that. We're getting in this site, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. They played the double shield with the Monty pretty much pressuring from top blue and that first floor corridor, kitchen hallway or bar hallway, right? And then on the other side, the Blitz was in the site with the Thermite Thatcher breach and the Glass pretty much playing Overwatch, as in, you know, the position Overwatch, not the game, different IP, folks. With that said, it is a match point and series point here for Hasib Warriors because, again, they won Cafe, right? Map number 1, they took 7-5. Now they're 6-3 up on the attack half for themselves, and Team UwU, well, they picked Chalet, and so far, whatever confidence they would have picked this map with has pretty much evaporated. They need to now look at this match on a round-by-round basis, just try to claw back some momentum, something to go their way. And, well, they just have to try and win one round and look for the second, then look for the third. Once it goes to overtime, then you can really start looking at the meta game once again. Right now, they just need to, they need something to go their way, is what I'm trying to say here. They've gone for second floor, which of course is a fairly dependable site, even without the mirror. But with all that said, Blitz has been banned under 7, so but Zedux gets the first kill. That's Beat down, and looks like Beat wanted to go for a spawn peek. Well, he's been spawn peeked, and that is going to be the first kill of the round.
He's going to spawn peek with a mute, and Xenox very patiently holding that doorway. He knew someone's going to be peeking, and his spidey senses were tingling, and Drish actually ends up with a bullet in his skull because of that. And already at the beginning of the round, this seems like another fast one from Hasib Warriors. 2 members are down from UwU. Every single member from Hasib Warriors is still trying, albeit Xenox taking a beat. But hold that thought, Fatar ends up going down. That's their hard breach. Now their hard breachless going further, but Xenox gets another kill. This time with Daisy, the triple kill, going for the quarter. Not quite successful. Dagger gets the return fire onto him, and he's a dog, so he's going to be looking to heal himself up. After the flurry of series that took place, it's a 3 versus 2 in favor of Hasib Warriors. You can see Dagger, Taz trying to challenge up over. He gets Dagger as well. Doc did not actually end up healing down, and in the blink of an eye, it's all over. Hasib Warriors will be your victors in semi-final 2. They will be moving on to the grand finals to face against Blitzkrieg, and unfortunately, for the side of Team UwU, their journey in Qualifier 1 comes to an end.
Well, in a very similar turn of events to yesterday, after a fairly long break, after the right before round 9 on map number 2, we have a quick finish for the second map as well. Unfortunately, this time there is no map number 3 to follow that up, so the pattern has been broken, and it is going to be Hasib Warriors with the 7-2, I believe, all things considered. Doing a quick count here. Yes, indeed. 7-2 and 2-0 on the map count. They win themselves semifinal number 2, and they continue their streak of winning 2-0s in these best of 3 matches. They will go into the grand finals to face off against Blitzkrieg. That'll be the matchup tomorrow, folks. The best of 5 and the team to get the top seeding going into playoffs. But of course, hats off to the side of Team UwU. They still made it this far, and they gave us a great showing on Cafe. Chalet, unfortunately, just wasn't quite their map at the end of the day, despite the fact that they picked it, and we will get to pick one of the players' brains about it in just a second here. But before that, of course, we'll have the stat sheets for both this map and then the entire matchup, and we have a lot to talk about just sort of in general. I think UwU on this map, kind of in the first half, we could see their confidence starting to take a hit, right? Especially they were 3-1 down going into round number 5. They got a couple of rounds for themselves, which was great. Good for confidence, good for momentum building. And then we got to the attack half for Hasib Warriors, and Hasib Warriors said, you know what? Let's just start playing these completely unpredictable random strats. Well, not random. They were clearly rehearsed. They were practiced. They knew what they were doing. But that's the point. Team UwU didn't. They kept getting caught off. The Nook play in round number 8, I do believe it was. Yes, it was. Round number 8, the Nook play with the Amaru. Round number 7, I do believe it was the Lions just going ham all over the place. Hasib playing that operator. Then you had the Shields being brought in with the Monty and the Blitz for round number 9. That garage hold was, it was torn apart like paper mache. And, well, we saw what happened in the last round. A couple of attempted peaks very early on, not going their way at all. And after that, it was just a complete collapse.
It was a just complete collapse. The last 2 rounds just went in a blur, honestly, for the side of Hasib Warriors. They entered, they planted, they got the kills, they went away. And the last round, Cdux gets the kill on to the Mute, who was trying to, go for the spawn pick. And then you can see the Legions coming in for backup, ends up going down as well. He gets a triple kill at that point. So the momentum's already on their side. They just ended up in very quick fashion. There's not much you can do. They didn't give even time for the side of Team UwU to think about what happened. They came back from the break with that instant power play that they were going for, that instant garage take in the bot side, and that does shake mentals quite a bit if you're losing rounds so fast and earlier on. You don't know exactly what you're being hit with. Like you're saying, they did not know what was coming their way, and it looked like this was dry run a couple of times by the side of Hasib Warriors, because it was like a well-oiled machine that they executed that take going into the basement. The last round seemed a bit haphazard, depending on the picks coming in from Zedux, but the basement one was just, just a masterpiece to honestly watch that kind of a take going down this high up in a tournament. But taking a look at the stats over here, seems pretty okay and equal in terms of, this opening frags. Hasib has that 2 for nothing in his mark over the Dagger also is trying to come alive with 2-1. But talking about kills, right? It seems so balanced overall from the side of Hasib Warriors. Everyone's above that 5 kill mark. Taha Hasib and Zedux above the 9, and double digits for Hasib as well with 10 kills for himself. And unfortunately, like you're talking about, Team UwU did select this map, but unfortunately had a worse showing compared to Cafe.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of going to eat at their confidence on Chalet in future matches, right? Because again, when you're in the ban phase, you pick a map because you're kind of comfortable to it. Now, of course, in a best of 3, it's always like ban, pick, ban, right? So you're going to lose out on your top maps because you say like Skyscraper or Nighthaven Labs, or even if you've practiced Lair, those maps get banned very frequently, right? So you need to be more familiar and more confident with maps that are played more often, right? And Chalet is one of those maps. Understandably, Chalet is a map that Team UwU has played before. We've seen them play this time and time again, to great success for that matter. So the fact that they picked this map was no surprise. I mean, I would have expected even Hasib Warriors or Blitzkrieg or Won't Stop Peaking or any other team that plays these qualifiers to be picking Chalet relatively frequently. So given the fact, given all that kind of a context and put into place, 7-3 or 3-7 being the differential at the end of the game is certainly something, and not quite not quite something they're going to be happy about, I do believe. And at the end of the day, folks, that's really what will be driving them going forward, right? They are in the playoffs, yes, and they certainly have the confidence to play really well in the playoffs. That is a very good team that they have over there, right? Dizzy, Dagger, Desi, Drish, Beat, and I believe Jittery is one of the players who can substitute in whatever they need him to. And of course, who doesn't know Jittery? If you followed South Asian Siege for any amount of time, Jittery is a name that you should be familiar with. One of the better fraggers in South Asian Siege history, at least in my opinion, right? And him and Beat have always had that duo mentality where they work so well together. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case today, with Jittery not coming in, of course, as well. And there we go, the final stat sheet for the entire matchup. Of course, most players hovering around that 0.9 section. And yeah.
We might have a bit of discrepancy because Ashami definitely did not play this match. Okay,
wait a
so he should not be there as well as Baz at the end of the day. But we can take a look at the other numbers, in front of your screen. Hasib did his job really well with the line. Actually, got very good early picks in a couple of cases as well. I think he's leading from the front the way that he has been playing. Fatar also did phenomenal. Taha, well, maybe slightly lower, but he had rounds where he did show his prowess, right? And Desi, at the end of the day, Desi was one of those front runners from the side of UwU. He still is technically one in terms of kills to death ratio. He's still pretty good. And look at Fatar's headshot ratio, right? Over there, he has, I think, a 96 or something like 86 or 90, something like that. That's insane numbers to be having in this form of a tournament. Like, that much of a headshot ratio is something really, really good to be having. I think we're just going to be fixing up the stats while we talk about it. And at least I think my prediction came true, Blackjack. So I think I'm okay to be gambling a bit nowadays.
Oh dear me! Don't make sure to not lose all your money if you do that. But with that said, folks, we're going to be having a quick interview here with, of course, one of the members from the side of Team UwU. It is Desi. Desi, my friend, how are you doing? I know that it's a 0-2 night. It will not be feeling that good. But with that said, how are you feeling?
I don't think it's really going to affect us much, honestly. It's one of those days where you win some, you lose some, right? So today was unfortunately one of those days when you do lose some, but it doesn't really get to our heads, and we're just looking forward to the next matches and hopefully do better.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking a bit about this, what do you think you guys could have maybe improved? You're saying it's maybe a bit on an off day essentially from yourself, and the Chalet pick coming in earlier on. You didn't pick the Twitch when the Mira was available. Any thoughts about that?
Right. So as far as the Twitch pick on Mira is concerned, it's one of those things whether it's hindsight bias, right? If you don't get one, you think that, oh, we should have got one. But if you do get one, it's not necessary that it does work out. So we can analyze what we could have picked in terms of operator lineups till the cows come home, but it's not really going to matter a lot. Ultimately, I think it was just one of those days where we played well, but they played better, and by God's grace, next time we cross each other's paths, maybe we come out on top. So, yeah, there is no single small action that cost us the win per se.
Right, and that is certainly one way a very good way to look at it, right? It's always more factors that go into a match like this, especially, when you're in a qualifier state, semifinals, there's pressure, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of things to look forward to. Speaking of, you did say that you guys are looking forward to the playoffs and kind of your future plans. So kind of walk us through that. What would be your game plan going into the playoffs later in October?
If I was being completely obtuse, our game plan would be to go in brain dead, but honestly, I can't talk a lot about what our plan is, of course, but I'd say our plan is to just maybe, play our own game a little more, maybe focus a little more on just running and gunning, because honestly, I feel that's what we're the best at, and maybe that's what we need to do. We'll see. I mean, each match and each team has their own requirements, so maybe depending on the opponents, we might do one way or the other.
From your perspective, how do you see Ubisoft's role in supporting the community? Because we're showing love back from Ubisoft back to the South Asian region right now. What do you think about the initiatives taken to grow R6 right now in the region?
I am definitely going to commend Ubisoft's efforts in doing this, but perhaps we can do a lot more. I mean, there is really no ceiling to how much we can do compared to other regions. We're still lagging. So I think, of course, there is room to grow, but still, with this is a great start. I think this is how we can take it forward as a community.
Absolutely.
That is.
And yeah, and actually from that community aspect, right, given the fact that this is the South Asia Elite Community Series, and we've had this Playoffs 1 and, Qualifier 1, we're going to have Qualifier 2 later this month as well. So from the community side of things, how would you say that the reception has been so far to the South Asia Elite Community Series?
The reception, okay, that's a good question. Actually, I think the reception was good, but again, I think we just need to encourage more players in this region to form teams and play games. And I think we just need to maybe looking at our live streams, people feel like this is so hectic, but there is a learning curve to everything, and maybe more people just need to invest the time and just play the game. Ultimately, that's the bottom line, right? You play the game as much as you can, and you just try as best as you can.
Yeah, and like talking about, you already know 4 of the teams that are going to be there in the playoffs, right? Alongside with you, like you're one of them, and the other 3. Are there any teams or players in particular that you have your eye on?
I don't think so. Honestly, we try to have a very neutral outtake towards all of our opponents. We respect them all equally. We don't really have an opinion about let's play one way towards the other or the other. Because let's just face facts here. You can analyze these things, like I said, forever. There is no limit to how much you can dissect these teams. Oh, this team has this play style, they play these operators. All of that goes away because it's a one-shot headshot game ultimately.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, you can have all the plans you want. Sometimes you just got to throw them out the window, right? And that certainly has been the case more times than not, I would say, in the last couple of years. So with all that said, this is more so from a production standpoint, given the way that the streams have been going and how everything has been handled. How would you say that it's been going so far?
I would like to extend my greatest commendations to all of the production team and you guys especially putting in the hours there. I'm sure it's not easy to sit there and commentate, even though some people underestimate how much effort it takes. So I'm definitely really appreciative of this opportunity, and I'm sure as are all the other players, honestly.
Yeah, thank you for those kind words. It means a lot, especially coming from a player who's been putting in the hours as well, getting your trade up to the APAC. But right, the end goal of this community series is, the APAC Cup Asia qualifier, right? So heading into that, do you think our region is slightly lacking right now? Or where do you see us in terms of other regions right now?
It's as I said before, honestly, I don't think we're putting up the numbers. We should be encouraging more players to form teams and play the game, because I'm sure there is a lot of hidden talent in our region, especially mechanically, because apart from Brazil, APAC is also known as one of those regions that is mechanically talented, as we've seen from some of the Southeast Asian teams as well. So I feel like we also have that, but we just need to motivate more players to come out and show that talent. And maybe that way we can put up some numbers on the international stage as well.
Wise words right there, Desi. I definitely agree with that. There's a lot of very mechanically skilled players in our South Asian region, and just APAC in general, right? So the more players register, the more players play these tournaments, the more opportunities come in, the more we will see these names pop up and hopefully engrave themselves in esports legend one day. But with that said, Desi, thank you so much for joining us here in this post-match segment. It was very, very wonderful having you here, and we'll be letting you go to kind of go and talk to your team and enjoy the rest of your evening, of course.
Yep. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Absolutely. And of course, folks, that was Desi from the side of Team UwU. Of course, Team UwU unfortunately bowing out of this qualifiers here in semifinal number 2. But I do quite like the way that he pointed out that even with the loss, it's not going to affect them too much. They're in the playoffs, and they're keeping a neutral stance here, not focusing too hard on one team. They're keeping the competition as a whole in mind. And so that's certainly a mentality I can get behind. But with that said, folks, we're going to be wrapping things up here for tonight's semifinal 2 in Qualifier 1 for the South Asia Elite Community Series for Rainbow Six Siege X here at Frag Nation in partnership with Ubisoft. I've been your host, Blackjack. Joining me has been Madness once again, and we'll be back tomorrow night for the grand finals best of 5 between Hasib Warriors and Blitzkrieg. Until then, stay tuned and good night.
You made a bad bet. Play the odds and risk it all. But you're playing my game now. And I'm here to clean house.